All right, we are being live streamed. All right, well, hello everybody that may be tuning in to us. We are the Not Ready for Quarantine players, and we are coming at you with The Mummy on a Sunday evening. I'm very excited. This is one that has been on the roster for a while. We just haven't gotten around to it, so I'm excited that we're able to get it done this time. And I know that a couple people have been really clamoring for it, so I'm excited to get it done this time. I am Ginger, the script keeper, and I am here with some OGs and some newbies. It's exciting. We kind of got a good mix right now. Of course, we've got Sean, aka Dad, who's going to be playing a brother today. We also have Michelle, aka Mom, who's going to be the love interest today. Exciting. We've got Pat, who's going to be O'Connell. I know that he's excited about
I
that.
am so excited for this one.
We've got Kelsey coming in, being an extra along with me. We're kind of being the random people, as it
We're
were.
tag teaming.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Nick, who is going to be taking on Emotep. I think that's how you say it. We've got Mark, somewhat of a newbie, coming in, playing mostly Henderson, a couple other people. And we have to thank Wasson for taking on an action narration. Those are always the hardest ones. So I'm gonna say thank you in advance because it's not easy. I'm somebody that gets tongue-tied when I narrate, so I get it. All right, but we are supporting Laundry Love. And if you are so inclined, you're watching and you're enjoying this, feel free to give a donation. This is the website. Oh, there's the website, holycommunion.net/give. And that will be where you want to donate to. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I figure we might as well kind of get on into it. So if everybody's ready, Lawson, take it away.
All right. The Universal Pictures globe spins, then comes to a stop on the African continent. A golden papyrus map of ancient Egypt rises up. We push in on it towards a city along the Nile, its name written in hieratic. We keep pushing in until the golden map turns to golden sand, and we find ourselves descending on this ancient Egyptian city, only it's not ancient. Superimposed across the screen are the words Thebes, 2134 BC, accompanied by a narrator with a very thick Egyptian accent.
My color, I think I'll take that one. City of the Living, crown jewel of Pharaoh Seti the First.
The camera sets down in an open plaza. An Arabian horse-drawn chariot comes barreling right at us, driven by Pharaoh Seti, an aristocratic, virile old man. The chariot wipes frame. We find ourselves in the interior of Ankh-Sunamun's balcony window at the palace at dusk. Glaring out over the city at the setting sun is a handsome, muscular man with intense, evil eyes. This is Imhotep.
Home of Imhotep, high priest of Osiris, keeper of the dead.
A gorgeous, olive-skinned goddess enters the outer foyer. It takes us a moment to realize that the skin-tight dress she's wearing isn't a dress at all, but rather her entire naked body that has been painted, in the ancient Egyptian manner. She's a stunning sight to behold. This is Ankh-Sunamun.
Birthplace of Anaxonamun, Pharaoh's mistress. No other man was allowed to touch her.
She makes her way through the ornate statuary. The camera comes to a stop on a cracked stone face, a beat, and then its eyes suddenly open. It's really a strange-looking tattooed man. Several more of these hideous bald men stand nearby. They are the priests of Osiris, Imhotep's guys. Their eyes watch Ankh-Sunamun vanish through the bedroom curtains. Ankh-Sunamun embraces Imhotep. They kiss passionately, feverishly. Imhotep's hands roam over her perfect body, smearing the paint. The narrator's voice fills with lust.
But for our love, we were willing to risk life itself.
And we realize that the narrator is actually Imhotep himself. On the other side of the curtains, the bald priests rush over and close the doors. But just as they do, the doors suddenly burst open. Pharaoh angrily strides in, looks at the priests. The following dialogue is in ancient Egyptian that's subtitled.
What are you doing here?
The priests back away, scared shitless. Obviously, his arrival was unexpected. Pharaoh strides for the curtains, then throws them back. Ankhsunamun stands alone, gives him a sexy smile. Pharaoh sees the smeared body paint and points his finger.
Who has touched you?
From behind him, his sword is ripped out of its scabbard. Pharaoh spins around. It's Imhotep. Pharaoh is shocked.
Imhotep? My priest?
Behind him, Ankhsunamun lifts a dagger and plunges it into his back. Pharaoh screams. Imhotep raises Pharaoh's sword. The hideous bald priests slam the doors and bolt them tight. Through the curtains, they see shadows of Ankhsunamun and Imhotep stabbing away at Pharaoh. Suddenly, the doors are rammed from the other side. Wham! Imhotep and Ankhsunamun turn and look. Wham! The doors are rammed again. The two lovers share desperate looks. Wham! The bald priests run up and grab Imhotep and try to pull him toward the balcony.
Pharaoh's bodyguards.
Imhotep tries to break free, but Ankhsunamun rips Pharaoh's sword out of his hand and pushes him toward the balcony.
You must go. Save yourself. Only you can resurrect me.
Imhotep's face fills with despair. The doors explode open. Men with blue-tinted skin and strange puzzle tattoos over their bodies stride in, armed to the teeth. These are the Mumia. The priests hustle Imhotep out into the dark balcony just as the Mumia rip through the curtains. Ankhsunamun points at Pharaoh and hisses.
My body is no longer his temple.
She plunges the sword into her own heart. Out on the balcony, Imhotep's mouth opens to a horrible, silent scream.
For murdering Pharaoh, Ankhsunamun's body was to be cursed, and it was I, the high priest, whose duty it was to curse it.
We are outside on the sand dunes at night. Imhotep leads a torchlit procession across the dunes. Ankhsunamun's mummy is carried by Nubian slaves. They put her down in the sand along with 5 jewel-encrusted jars.
Her body was mummified, her vital organs removed and placed in sacred canopic jars.
Imhotep, filled with dread, reads from a book made out of pure gold. This is the Book of the Living.
The Book of the Living contains sacred incantations that would send the evil dead on a journey into the dark underworld.
Strange light suddenly flashes across the faces of the slaves and the Egyptian soldiers. Suddenly, everyone's fear-filled eyes all rise, as if watching Ankhsunamun's body rising. Then one last huge flash, accompanied by a blast of wind, and it's over. Ankhsunamun's body now lies twisted on the ground. Imhotep's priests place the body into a stone sarcophagus. The Nubian slaves lower it into a hole and bury it with sand. Imhotep then signals to the soldiers, who throw their spears at the Nubians, killing them.
The slaves were killed.
Imhotep's knife-wielding priests attack the now unarmed soldiers, hacking at them in the flickering darkness as Imhotep and the Mumia solemnly watch.
And the soldiers who killed them were also slain, so that no unholy person should ever know the exact location of the burial site.
The Mumia walk off across the sand, and then, one by one, the priests stop their frenzied stabbing and stare off at the vanishing Mumia. As the last Mumia disappears over a distant dune, Imhotep nods, and the priests leap onto Ankhsunamun's grave and begin digging it back up with their hands. We are in the Sahara Desert at night. Chariots race out into the moonlit desert. Imhotep leads the way. A hearse carries Ankh-Sunamun's mummy. The map of ancient Egypt fades up. The chariots race across the map.
But there was another book, the Book of the Dead, which was never to be opened, never to be read, for it contained the incantations that could bring a dead body back to life, a most unholy thing.
The chariots arrive at a place marked on the map in Hieratic. They raise up the stone ramp and in through the city gates. Superimposed across the screen are the words, Hamunaptra, City of the Dead.
It was hidden at Hamunaptra, city of the dead, inside the statue of Anubis, so that no such sacrilege might ever disgrace Egypt.
We are outside Hamunaptra at the Anubis site at night. Imhotep pulls an ornate chest out of a secret compartment inside the giant statue of Anubis. He opens the chest and lifts out the Book of the Dead, made of black stone.
But for my love of Anaxunamun, I was willing to defy the gods.
We are inside the underground necropolis at night. Big, hairy rats scurry through the mausoleums and over the headstones of this very large, scary, underground cemetery. A detritus moat surrounds the cemetery. Muck made out of filthy water and human remains. Skulls bob in the goop. The priests have gathered in a circle. Their hooded, lifeless eyes seem dead to this world. Their bald heads rock back and forth as they chant a quiet, eerie hum. Heinous creatures. In the middle of the circle is a strange, twisted altar. Imhotep has unwrapped Ankh-Sunamun's gorgeous, lifeless body and placed her 5 sacred canopic jars around her.
Anaxunamun's vital organs were still fresh, so a human sacrifice would not need to be made.
As Imhotep begins to read from the Book of the Dead, a large, swirling hole starts to open in the detritus bog. Several priests look over at it, frightened, then quickly look back down and resume chanting. A strange mist wafts up out of the swirling hole and over to the jars. It passes through them and into Ankh-Sunamun's body. One of the jars shudders. The heart inside begins to beat. The chanting priest, swirling hole, wafting mist, beating heart, and Imhotep's readings are reaching a crescendo. Ankh-Sunamun's eyes suddenly fly open.
Anaxunamun's soul had come back from the dead. Now all that was needed was to return her organs to the rightful place within her body.
Imhotep lifts a sacrificial knife above Ankh-Sunamun's breast, about to plunge it down. The chanting, swirling, and beating heart climax, and that's when the mumia burst in and storm through the startled priests. The head mumia smashes the jar with the beating heart. The mist instantly sucks back out of Ankh-Sunamun's body and implodes back into the swirling hole. Ankh-Sunamun's eyes close, dying once again. Imhotep screams in rage. The mumia grab him and his priests.
My priests were condemned to be mummified alive.
We are inside the embalming chamber, the necropolis revamp at night. Inside a torchlit chamber, Imhotep is held by Anubis-headed embalmers. He cringes at the flickering, impressionistic glimpses of his priests being embalmed and mummified alive. The horrid-looking embalmers using knives, needles, and thread, calmly performing their ghastly surgery on the screaming priests who are going insane from the procedure. A red-hot poker is pulled out of a pit of burning coals. A priest's head is wedged between 2 strong boards. His eyes widen in terror as the embalmer moves to insert the red-hot poker up his nose. But just before he does, we quickly cut to Imhotep's face, horrified, as off-camera the priest screams. We go wide on the chamber. All 21 of Imhotep's priests squirm inside their wrappings. Imhotep is forced to his knees. His arms are held back. His mouth is pried open.
As for me, I was condemned to endure the Homdai, the worst of all ancient curses, one so horrible it had never before been bestowed.
Using a pair of tongs, an embalmer slowly pulls Imhotep's tongue out of his mouth, then places a very sharp knife on top of it. We go tight on Imhotep's eyes as his tongue is apparently cut out. The embalmer flings Imhotep's tongue onto the floor. The Mumia's dogs attack and quickly eat it. Imhotep is wrapped alive. Only his mouth, nostrils, and fear-filled eyes are left free of the slimy bandages. Detritus muck boils inside a black cauldron. Embalmers scoop out the fetid muck and apply it to Imhotep's wrappings as he squirms. He's then laid in a wooden coffin inside a stone sarcophagus. An embalmer with a bucket steps up and looks into the coffin. Imhotep's wild eyes stare back. The embalmer empties the bucket over Imhotep's chests. Dozens of scarabs, disgusting dung beetles, they scurry across Imhotep's screaming face. Some vanish into his tongueless mouth and up his nostrils.
By eating the sacred scarabs, I would be cursed to stay alive forever. And by eating me, they were cursed just the same.
The lid to the coffin is slammed shut. Then, using a strange four-sided key, the head mumia locks the coffin lid tight. The heavy sarcophagus lid is shoved into place and with a loud whoosh, seals itself airtight. Once again, the head mumia uses the strange key, locking the sarcophagus lid tight.
I was to remain sealed inside my sarcophagus, the undead, for all of eternity.
The blue-skinned, strangely tattooed man carefully collapses the sides of the key, turning it into a little puzzle box.
They would never allow me to be released, for I would arise a walking disease, a plague upon mankind, an unholy flesh-eater with the strength of ages, power over the sands, and the glory of invincibility.
Imhotep's sarcophagus is dropped into a detritus pit. The disgusting muck splashes up, drools down its sides, and then is mysteriously sucked into its seams, vanishing clean.
And if I could raise my beloved Anaxunamun from her place in hell, together we would be an unstoppable infection upon this world. The apocalypse, the end.
Imhotep's horrifying, tongueless screams can be heard coming from inside his sarcophagus as grave diggers shovel dirt onto it. The main title is superimposed on the scream, The Mummy. The heavily armed mumia stand guard around Imhotep's grave. Looking down on the burial site is a huge statue of Anubis, the jackal-headed god of death. It stares at us, then begins to decay before our very eyes, aging 4,159 years in only seconds. And then we find ourselves and the decrepit, half-buried statue of Anubis out in the middle of the desert. We find ourselves outside the Hamunaptra ruins in 1925 during the day. Imhotep's horrifying screams become the screams of a Tuareg horseman, racing across the desert with 2,000 of his warrior brethren armed to the teeth. Superimposed across the screen are the words, The Sahara, 1925. A mile across the scorching desert, 200 French Foreign Legionnaires scurry through the ruins, preparing for the onslaught. Our hero is up on the wall. His kepi sits at a jaunty angle, dashing and handsome. This is Rick O'Connell. He looks out at the massive screaming horde galloping at him.
I knew this was going to be a lousy day.
A doughy little Frenchman joins him as he makes his way across the top of the wall. This is Benny.
Personally, I would like to surrender. Why can we not just surrender? I can't do a French accent.
Shut up and give me your bandolier.
Benny pulls off his cartridge belt and hands it to O'Connell.
Then let's run away right now while we can still make it.
O'Connell throws it on, crisscrossing his own bandolier.
Now give me your revolver. You're not going to use it anyway.
Benny pulls out his pistol and chucks it to O'Connell.
Then let's play dead, huh? Nobody ever does that anymore.
O'Connell slides it into his belt, next to his own revolver.
Now go find me a big stick.
In the desert? What for?
O'Connell turns and goes nose to nose with him.
So I can tie it to your back. You appear to be without a spine.
The horde of warriors thunders forward, now half a mile out, scimitars rattling. O'Connell and Benny run through the ruins.
How'd a guy like you end up in the Legion anyway?
I got caught robbing a synagogue. Lots of good stuff in them holy places. Churches, temples, mosques. And who's guarding them?
Altar boys?
Exactly. I speak 7 languages, including Hebrew, so my specialty was synagogues. How about you? Kill somebody?
Benny trips and accidentally tackles O'Connell to the ground. O'Connell gives him a nasty look.
No, but I'm considering it.
They get up and run out the gate and down the stone ramp.
What then? Robbery, extortion, surprise nutcake?
None of the above, thank you.
Then what the hell are you doing here?
They both skid to a stop at the front line as they see the horde of warriors. The sound of charging horses is deafening. O'Connell gives Benny a big cheesy smile.
I was just looking for a good time.
And
Yeah.
that's when the cowardly Legionnaire colonel suddenly panics, cuts and runs. O'Connell instantly stiffens.
Oh shit. Steady!
He gives the men around him courage, but onward comes the horde hooves pounding in the sand. Several more legionnaires take off.
Steady! What the hell am I saying?
The Tarigs let loose with those horrifying ulu-looing screams. More legionnaires haul ass. Benny is one of them.
Steady! What the hell am I doing?
The Tarigs set their rifles and take aim. O'Connell steels himself, cocks and locks. The cartridge in his mouth suddenly snaps. He spits it into the sand. Another beat, and then
Fire!
the legionnaires on the ground fire. The rifles report with a crash. The blast blows dozens of Tarigs clean off their mounts. The prone legionnaires quickly begin to reload.
Fire!
The kneeling legionnaires fire. More Tarigs bite the sand. The remaining warriors open fire. Thunder and smoke rip up the hot air. A third of the legionnaires are killed instantly.
Fire!
The remaining standing legionnaires fire. Tuareg spin off their mounts, crash to the sand, and then the entire Tuareg force plows into the ruins and through the legionnaires. O'Connell grabs the barrel of his rifle and starts clubbing riders off their steeds, fighting like a man possessed. Benny, on the other hand, is belly crawling across the sand, whimpering in full retreat as legionnaires fall dead all around him. He crawls through the front gate. O'Connell throws his rifle down and goes for his guns. He cross-draws, a gun in each hand, starts blowing riders off their mounts. Benny crawls faster, and then he spots an open temple doorway amongst the rocks. He gets up and sprints for the door as the last of the legionnaires are shot off their feet behind him. O'Connell's guns go empty.
Son of a bitch.
He turns and runs like hell right through the front gate. 4 Tuareg warriors on massive Arabians haul ass after him. O'Connell hurdles a stone column and hits the ground running. He spots Benny inside the temple doorway, trying to close the heavy sandstone door.
Benny, wait up!
Benny has no intention of waiting up. He pushes harder.
What the hell are you doing? Wait up!
O'Connell runs faster. Benny pushes harder. The 4 horsemen leap the big column and charge after him, hooves pounding.
Don't you close that door! Don't you close that door! Don't you close that door!
Benny closes the door, just as O'Connell reaches it. O'Connell slams his body into the door. It doesn't budge.
I'm gonna get you for this.
He turns and bolts off around the rocks, running for his life, weaving through the ruins. The Arabians getting closer and closer, the pounding hooves getting louder and louder. O'Connell finally spins around and faces his attackers. The 4 massive horses crash to a stop in front of him. The vicious Tuaregs raise their rifles to finish him off. O'Connell just stands there, exhausted and beaten. Then he slowly lifts his right hand and gives them the bird. And that's when the horses go apeshit. All 4 of them rear up. 2 of the riders are thrown to the ground. The horses screech and bellow and snort in fear, then buck like fury and haul ass away, as if the devil himself had scared them. The thrown riders get up and race off after their mounts. O'Connell just stands there stunned. Then he lifts his right hand and checks out his middle finger. And then he feels the evil himself and turns around. The shattered, decrepit statue of Anubis stares back at him. Suddenly, the sand begins to shift under O'Connell's feet. He starts to back away, keeping his eyes on the transforming sand. It looks like huge snakes are wriggling and writhing beneath it, forming lines and shapes, drawing a picture. O'Connell quickly turns and runs off through the ruins. The sand stops moving, and we can now see that drawn in the sand is a picture of Imhotep's screaming face. We are at the ridge during the day. Up on a ridge, a group of riders watch O'Connell stumble clear of the decrepit city. O'Connell feels their presence and looks up. Very different from the Tuaregs, they have blue-tinted skin and faces covered in strange puzzle tattoos. The Mumia, still watching Imhotep's grave after all this time. The Mumia leader is a huge, fierce man in black robes with dual scimitars across his waist. His face is both handsome and horrible, blue and tattooed. Meet Ardeth Bey. His dark eyes watch O'Connell stagger off into the open desert. We are then in Cairo during the day. Cairo, a city so old the stars have actually changed their positions in the sky since its birth. A city teeming with every form of life. A strange, mysterious, wonderful city. We superimpose its name across the screen, Cairo. We are then in the Cairo Museum of Antiquities during the day. Deep in the bowels of the museum lie the stacks, rows upon rows of towering bookshelves, filled with literature on the antiquities. Standing at the top of a tall ladder between two of these rows and leaning against one of the bookshelves is a rather uninteresting British girl. Eyeglasses, hair in a bun, long boring dress, typical prudish nightmare. This is Evelyn Carnarvon. We are going to fall in love with her. Evelyn pulls a book out from a stack from under her arm, blows the dust off it, then places it on a shelf with other books whose titles all begin with the letter O. Then she grabs another book out from under her arm and reads the title.
What a fucking introduction. Jesus Christ.
I just
Boring,
read
prudish. Mimosas. Now, how did you get up here?
Carefully, so as not to lose her balance, she looks over her shoulder to the bookshelf behind her where all the titles begin with the letter T. Then she looks down. It's a long way to the bottom. Evelyn gently sets the other books down on the top shelf, then turns and gingerly starts to reach across the aisle with the Tuthmosis book. It's a little too far, so she stretches, reaching, holding the top of the ladder with her fingertips. She's almost got it. Closer, now closer. And that's when the ladder pulls away from the shelf. Evelyn yelps, flings the book, and grabs the top of the ladder, which stands straight up. Evelyn holds her breath, swaying precariously. A long beat, and then she loses her balance. The ladder swings around, and Evelyn starts stilt walking down the aisle.
Ah!
The ladder crosses the aisle, does an about face, and heads back the way it came. Evelyn clings to the top, struggling for balance. The ladder teeters out into the main aisle and picks up speed. Evelyn screams as it does a 180, spins into another aisle, and finally crashes to a stop at the top of a bookshelf. Evelyn holds her breath, then sighs heavily. And that's when the bookshelf falls away from her and crashes into the next bookshelf. Evelyn slides down the ladder and plops to the floor. She looks up just as the domino effect kicks in, each bookshelf crashing into the next, and onward it goes. Bookshelf after bookshelf, thousands of volumes flinging off the shelves and scattering across the floor. It finally ends as the last shelf crashes into a wall. Evelyn's eyes are closed. She opens one eye, looks left, then right, then opens the other eye and stares at the huge mess.
Oops.
The Egyptian curator storms in.
Look at this. Sons of the Messiah? Give me frogs, flies, locusts, anything but this. Compared to you, the other plagues were a joy.
Evelyn quickly gets up and starts gathering books.
I'm sorry, it was an accident.
When Ramses destroyed Syria, it was an accident. You are a catastrophe. Why do I put up with you?
Evelyn turns to him, trying to contain herself.
You put up with me because I can read and write ancient Egyptian, decipher hieroglyphics, and heretic, and I'm also the only person within 1,000 miles who knows how to properly code and catalog this library.
Who needs smart women? I put up with you because your mother and father were our finest patrons. Allah rest their souls. Now straighten up this mess.
The curator storms out. Evelyn just stands there, steaming, and then she hears a noise and quickly turns around. A beat.
Hello?
Quiet, eerie, and then she hears it again, like feet slowly shuffling across the floor, coming from a nearby gallery.
Abdul? Mohammed? Bob?
Evelyn walks through the stacks and enters. We are in the interior of the Raseum, filled with treasures and plunder from the Middle Kingdom. It's very dark and quiet in here. The only light is from flickering torches at either end of the spooky gallery. The noise again, from the far side of the room, feet slowly shuffling, plodding across the floor. Evelyn grabs a torch, looks around at a statue of Anubis, another of Horus. They stare down at Evelyn, who is starting to get scared now. She walks down the aisle, past a closed sarcophagus, past cases of ancient artifacts, past another sarcophagus, only this one is open. Evelyn freezes, swallows hard, nervously looks around to see who could have opened it. Then she slowly leans forward with the torch and peers inside. A hideous, rotted mummy sits up and screeches at her. Evelyn screams, drops the torch, and backs away, scared out of her wits. And then, coming from inside the sarcophagus, she hears a man laughing. Her eyes narrow as a foppish cad crawls out from behind the mummy, laughing his ass off, half drunk.
You!
Drunkard, fool, rat bastard. Please call me something original.
Meet Jonathan Carnarvon. As he crawls out of the sarcophagus, Evelyn pulls a cigarette out of the mummy's mouth.
Have you no respect for the dead?
Right now, I only wish to join them.
He grins drunkenly. Evelyn punches him hard in the chest.
Well, I'd wish you'd do it sooner rather than later before you ruin my career the way that you ruined yours.
My dear, sweet baby sister, I'll have you know that at this moment my career is on a high note.
He belches, then falls back and sits on the edge of a sarcophagus.
High note? Ha! For 5 years you've been scrounging around Egypt. And what have you got to show for it? Nothing.
Jonathan excitedly starts scrounging around in his jacket.
Oh, yes, I do. I have something right here.
Oh no, not another worthless trinket, Jonathan. If I bring one more piece of junk to the curator to try and sell for you.
Jonathan pulls out a small ancient box. It's the collapsed key to Imhotep's sarcophagus and coffin. Evelyn is instantly curious. She grabs the box out of his hand.
Where did you get this?
Jonathan knows her weaknesses and gives her a mischievous smile.
On a dig down in Thebes.
Evelyn rolls the box around in her hands, mumbling to herself as she translates the hieroglyphs and hieroglyphs covering it. Jonathan licks his lips in anticipation.
Whole life, I've never found anything. Evie, tell me I found something.
Evelyn's fingers play with the various little slats on the box, shifting them this way and that way. It's like a puzzle box. Then suddenly it unfolds itself, almost mechanically, turning itself into the key. Sitting inside the open key box is a folded piece of golden papyrus, an ancient map.
Jonathan,
Yes?
I think you found something.
We are in the curator's office during the day. The curator sits at his desk, staring through a jeweler's eyepiece at the key box. Evelyn hovers behind him, excited.
See the surprise nutcake there? It's the official royal seal of Seti the First. I'm sure of it.
Perhaps.
Jonathan leans in from across the desk.
2 questions. Who the hell is Seti the First, and was he rich?
He was the last pharaoh of the Old Kingdom, said to be the wealthiest pharaoh of all of them.
All right, good. That's good. I like this fellow. Like him very much.
The curator picks up the map. It's actually the exact same map that we established in the opening scenes of the movie.
I've already dated it. This map is almost 4,000 years old. And the hieratics over there, it's something.
The curator freezes, suddenly very nervous. Then he recovers.
My dear girl, don't be ridiculous. We are scholars, not treasure hunters. Hymenoptera is a myth.
Are we talking about the Hymenoptera?
Yes, the city of the dead, where the early pharaohs were said to have hidden the wealth of Egypt.
Right, right. In a big underground treasure chamber. Everybody knows this story. The entire necropolis was rigged to sink into the sand. On Pharaoh's command, flick of the switch, and the whole place could disappear beneath the sand, beneath the dunes.
All we know is that a city mysteriously vanished around 2134 BC.
The curator holds the map closer to the burning candle lamp.
As the Americans would say, it's all fairy tales and hokum.
The map accidentally catches on fire. The curator throws it to the floor. Jonathan drops to his knees and quickly puts it out, lifts it up. The left third of the map is now missing.
You burned it! You burned off part of the lost city!
It's for the best, I'm sure. Many men have wasted their lives in the foolish pursuit of Hymenoptera. No one has ever found it. Most have never returned.
You killed my map.
I'm sure it was a fake anyway. I'm surprised at you, Miss Carnarvon, to be so fooled.
The curator reaches for the key box. Evelyn quickly snatches it off the desk and gives him a very angry, suspicious look. We are then at the Cairo prison, the gallows courtyard during the day. Cairo prison, one of the worst hellholes on earth. Every low-life form of scumbag can be found here. The warden, a first-rate scumbag himself, escorts Evelyn and Jonathan across the gallows courtyard. Evelyn whispers to Jonathan.
You told me you found it on a dig down in Thebes.
I was mistaken.
You lied to me.
I lie to everybody. What makes you so special?
I'm your sister.
That just makes you more gullible.
You stole it from a drunk at the local Casbah?
Picked his pocket, actually.
We are then in the outside of the visitor's pen during the day. The warden ushers Evelyn and Jonathan into the holding pen.
And what is he in prison for?
I did not know. So when I heard you were coming, I asked him that myself.
And what did he say?
He said he was just looking for a good time.
The interior cell door bursts open. O'Connell is in chains, dragged by 4 guards. They shove him up to the cell bars. From the looks of it, he's been here a while. His face is half hidden by long hair, a scraggly beard, and many new bruises. Evelyn looks at him, disgusted by his appearance.
But he's just a filthy criminal?
Way to go, Evie.
O'Connell gives Evelyn the once-over, then looks at Jonathan.
So who's the broad?
Broad?
She's my sister, actually.
Yeah, well, it's not a total loss.
Evelyn is stunned and furious. The warden heads out the door.
I'll be back in a moment.
I tremble with anticipation.
A guard clubs O'Connell across the head. O'Connell's face bounces off the metal bars. He shows no pain, but just looks back and gives the guard a nasty look. Evelyn steps closer.
We found your puzzle box, and we've come to ask you about it.
No,
No.
no. You've come to ask me about Hymenoptera.
Evelyn and Jonathan quickly look around, hoping the guards didn't hear him. They step closer. Evelyn plays coy.
How do you know the box pertains to Hymenoptera?
Because I was there. I found it there.
Evelyn is dumbstruck, but Jonathan looks suspicious.
And how do we know it's not a load of hog swallow?
O'Connell looks closer at Jonathan, a glint of recognition.
Hey, don't I know you?
Well, you see,
O'Connell's fist comes flying through the bars, hits Jonathan square in the jaw, decks him. He hits the floor, out cold. A guard clubs O'Connell. His head bounces off the bars again. He shows no pain, but gives the guard another nasty look. Evelyn looks down at her brother and then back at O'Connell.
You were actually at Hominoptera?
I just decked your brother.
Yeah, well, I know my brother.
O'Connell almost smiles. There's a bit of spark to this girl.
Yeah, I was there.
You swear?
Every damn day.
No, I mean,
I know what you mean. I was there all right. Seti's Palace, the city of the dead.
what did you find? What did you see?
I found sand. I saw death.
The warden enters. Evelyn quickly leans closer to O'Connell.
Could you tell me how to get there, the exact location?
Want to know?
Evelyn leans in even closer.
Yes.
You really want to know?
She leans her face right up to the bars, nervous and excited.
Yes.
O'Connell steps forward and kisses her full on the lips.
Then get me the hell out of here.
Evelyn is stunned. A guard clubs him. His face bounces off the bars yet again. But before he can react, the guards grab him and yank him away from the bars and drag him out of the room.
Where are they taking him?
To be hanged.
Evelyn is shocked. The warden shows off his green teeth.
Apparently, he had a very good time.
We are outside in the gallows courtyard during the day. Hundreds of filthy prisoners stare down into the gallows as the hangman's noose is draped over O'Connell's head and cinched tight around his neck. Evelyn follows the warden onto a balcony above the gallows. The prisoners all go dead quiet at the sight of her, like jackals staring at fresh meat.
No women allowed.
I'm an English woman.
This seems to confuse the warden. He shrugs and sits down. O'Connell looks up as Evelyn plops down beside the warden.
I will give you 100 pounds to spare his life.
I would pay 100 pounds just to see him hang.
200 pounds.
Proceed.
300 pounds.
O'Connell can hear every word. He looks hopeful. Other than Evelyn, you could hear a pin drop. The hangman turns to him.
Any last requests, pig?
Yeah, I'd like you to let me go.
The hangman grabs the lever to the trapdoor.
500 pounds.
The warden sets his greasy, lecherous hand on Evelyn's leg.
And what else?
Evelyn is rightly revolted. She quickly shoves his hand away. Insulted, the warden angrily returns and gestures to the hangman, who pulls the lever. The trapdoor drops away.
No!
O'Connell drops through the hole. The rope pays out, then jerks taut. O'Connell's body snaps at the end of the rope, but he is still alive because
His neck did not break. Good. Now we watch him strangled to death.
the prisoners go apeshit, screaming and shouting in anger. The guards look around, nervous. O'Connell struggles at the end of the rope, gagging. Evelyn is horrified. She quickly turns to the warden, leads forward, and whispers in his ear.
He knows the location to Hominoptera.
The warden spins around and faces her.
You lie.
I would never.
At the end of the rope, O'Connell is choking and gagging and turning several shades of red. The warden stares at Evelyn.
Are you saying this filthy, godless son of a pig knows where to find the city of the dead? Truly?
Yes, and if you cut him down, we will give you 10%.
50%.
20.
40.
Evelyn hesitates and bites her lip. O'Connell's eyes bulge as he looks up at her. He can't believe this girl.
Give him. God.
25% and want not one single farthing more.
The warden flashes a big green smile and yells in Arabic. A scimitar slashes the air. The rope is cut. O'Connell crashes to the ground, half dead, rolls over, gagging. All of the prisoners burst into cheers. O'Connell looks up at Evelyn. She smiles broadly and waves down at him. We are now at the curator's office at night. Candlelight flickers across the curator's face.
She must die.
Standing in the shadows across from his desk are three mumia, blue-tinted skin, hideous facial tattoos, the works. One of the mumia has a rusty metal hook for a hand. He shrugs.
She is like all the others. She will die in the desert.
No, she has seen too much. She knows too much.
The curator leans across his desk, fear in his eyes.
Not only does she have a map, but she has the key.
It spooks the hell out of the mumia guys.
The key! She has the lost key!
Yes, no one has ever had so much, been so close. We must stop her, or it will be the end of us all.
Then we will kill her. We will kill her and all those with her.
And burn the map and retrieve the key.
It will be done. But what of the American expedition? They leave tomorrow as well.
Forget the bumbling Americans. They will be like all the others. Without the map to guide them, how can they possibly find Hamanoptera?
We are outside a Giza port during the day. We smash cut to our old traitorous friend, Benny.
It is 3 days down the Nile, then 2 days by camel, sahibs.
We crane back to reveal Benny standing on the bow of a passenger barge, surrounded by Daniels, Henderson, and Burns.
For all the money we're paying you, something better goddamn well be under that sand.
We keep craning back as Henderson slaps Daniels on the back.
Hamanoptera, Daniels, that's all you got to keep saying to yourself. Hamanoptera.
Now we see all of Giza Port. Teams of explorers swarm the docks. Across the Nile, the pyramids spike the sky. Evelyn and Jonathan walk along the boardwalk besieged by hawkers selling everything from toy tombs to King Tut action figures.
Do you really think he'll show up?
Undoubtedly. I know the breed. He may be a cowboy, but his word is his word.
Personally, I think he's filthy, rude, and a complete scoundrel. I don't like him one bit.
Anyone I know?
They both turn. O'Connell walks up, shaved, showered, spit and polished, with a new haircut and clothes. He looks more dashing and handsome than ever. Evelyn is suitably impressed.
Oh, hello.
Jonathan grabs O'Connell's arm and shakes his hand.
Smashing day for the start of an adventure, eh, O'Connell?
O'Connell quickly checks his pockets.
Yeah. Smashing.
He finds his wallet and relaxes. Directly above him on the bow of the barge, Burns wipes his bifocals and turns to Benny.
You sure Hamanoptera's out there?
Along with the scorched bones of my entire garrison, sahib.
And that's when Benny spots O'Connell. Benny shakes his head as if seeing a mirage, then starts backing away from the men.
1,000 pardons, my good sahibs, but there is much work to be done.
Benny quickly scurries off, vanishing down into the hold. Back down with Evelyn, recovering, she clears her throat.
Mr. O'Connell, can you look me in the eye and guarantee me this isn't some sort of flim-flam? Because if it is, I'm warning you.
O'Connell steps up close to Evelyn, invading her space, and looks her straight in the eye. Evelyn doesn't back away.
All I can tell you, miss, is that my colonel found that map in the ancient fortress, and the whole damn garrison believed in it so damn much that without any orders, we marched halfway across Libya and into Egypt to find that city. Like I told you, it was all sand. Everybody else was wiped out by Tuareg warriors. I'll take your bags.
O'Connell takes her bags and heads up the gangplank and onto the same passenger barge that Benny and the Americans are on. Evelyn's eyes follow him, a bit wistfully. Jonathan sees it.
Yes, yes, you're right. Filthy, rude, a complete scoundrel. Nothing to like there at all.
Evelyn gives him a look. Jonathan just grins, and that's when the warden suddenly brushes past, tipping his raggedy hat.
A bright good morning to all.
What are you doing here?
I've come to protect my surprise nutcake. Thank you very much.
And up the plank he goes. Evelyn and Jonathan share a look. We go wide again as the barge pulls out and heads down the Nile. We tilt up to the sun, which dissolves into the river Nile at night, the moon shining down on the desert. The three vicious mumia quietly glide a narrow skiff out onto the river. The one with the hook sits in the middle of the skiff. The other two row, heading for the passenger barge coming their way. We are then at the bar at the bow at night. Jonathan and the three Americans are playing poker. O'Connell comes out a door carrying a gunny sack.
Sit down, O'Connell. Sit down. He's another good player.
I only gamble with my life, never my money.
Never? What if I were to wager $500 says we get to Hamanatra before you?
O'Connell returns Daniel's cocky look.
You're on.
Burns slips on his dirty bifocals.
What makes you so confident, sir?
What makes you?
Henderson spits a wad of chew into a spittoon.
We got us a man who's actually been there.
O'Connell's poker face drops, perplexed. Same with Jonathan.
I say, what a coincidence. Why?
O'Connell accidentally hits him in the ribs with the gunny sack, shutting him up. Jonathan quickly recovers.
Whose deal is it? Is it my deal? I thought I'll just deal.
On the barge at night, Evelyn sits on a table staring out over the passing river. The gunny sack drops onto the table, startling her.
Sorry, didn't mean to scare you.
The only thing that scares me, Mr. O'Connell, are your manners.
Still angry that I kissed you, huh?
If you could call that a kiss.
O'Connell reaches into the gunny sack and starts pulling out revolvers, pistols, hunting knives, a massive elephant gun, and half a dozen carefully wrapped sticks of dynamite.
Did I miss something? Are we going into battle?
The last time I was at that place, everybody I was with died.
This takes the smile off of Evelyn's face. O'Connell starts dismantling and cleaning the guns.
There's something out there. Something under that sand.
Yes, I'm hoping to find a certain artifact, a book, actually. My brother thinks there's treasure. What do you think is out there?
O'Connell looks into Evelyn's eyes.
Evil. The Tuaregs and the Bedouin believe that Hamunaptra is cursed. They call it the doorway to hell.
Amar is Osirian, passageway to the underworld, actually.
She gives him a know-it-all grin.
I don't believe in fairy tales and hokum, Mr. O'Connell, but I do believe that one of the most famous books in history is buried out there, the Book of the Living. It's what first interested me in Egypt as a child. That's why I came here, sort of a life's pursuit.
And the fact that they said it's made of pure gold makes no never mind to you, right?
Evelyn is surprised by his knowledge.
You know your history.
I know my treasure.
Evelyn gets up to go, then she hesitates, nervous. She turns back to O'Connell and, as matter of fact as possible, says,
By the way, why did you kiss me?
O'Connell, cleaning his guns, just shrugs his shoulders.
I was about to be hanged. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Evelyn's eyes widen. Furious, she turns and storms off. O'Connell looks up, watching her leave, a bit perplexed.
What? What'd I say?
Then he hears someone snickering under the table. He quickly reaches down, grabs that someone, and lifts him up. It's Benny.
My very good friend. What a surprise!
Why, if it ain't my little buddy Benny, I ought to kill you.
O'Connell sticks a knife under Benny's throat. Benny swallows hard, then tries to weasel his way out with a big grin.
You were never very good with the ladies, O'Connell.
So you're the one leading the Americans. I should have figured. So what's the scam? You get them out there in the middle of the desert and then leave them to rot?
Unfortunately, no. These Americans are smart. They pay me only half now and half when we get back to Cairo. So I must go all the way, unlike you just now. Oh.
Oh.
O'Connell pulls the knife away, and Benny relaxes and rubs his neck.
Never believed in Hamanatra, O'Connell. Why are you going back? The devil himself lives out there.
They look as they hear Evelyn yelp. A single camel in the horse paddock takes another bite at her. She yelps again and backs away. O'Connell grins as Evelyn flees down the deck.
That girl saved my life. Figured the least I could do was keep her out of trouble.
You always did have more balls than brains.
O'Connell's eyes narrow at the insult. He looks back at Benny.
Let's make us even, shall we?
Even?
O'Connell grabs him and chucks him over the side of the barge. Benny splashes into the river. O'Connell takes his gunny sack and starts walking off down the deck.
O'Connell, I'm gonna kill you for this.
Sounds familiar.
And that's when he spots 3 sets of wet footprints coming up over the railing from the river and heading down the deck. O'Connell quickly looks around, immediately on the alert. We are inside Evelyn's cabin at night. Evelyn, wearing a nightgown, stands in front of a mirror. She gives her head a good shake, letting her hair fall loose over her bare shoulders. Then she turns around. Right there is one of the hideous mumia. It's Hook. He slams his hand over her mouth and lifts up his hook, ready to strike.
Where is the map?
Evelyn's terrified eyes glance down. Hook looks over, sees the map lying next to a flickering candle on a nearby table.
And the key? Where is the key?
Evelyn's eyes look confused. She shakes her head. Hook grins.
Then I'll find it myself.
He cocks his hook, about ready to kill her. That's when the door is kicked open. O'Connell bursts in, gun in each hand. Hook spins Evelyn around and holds her out in front of him. O'Connell looks at her.
Friend of yours?
Evelyn's eyes widen, and that's when the candle on the table flickers. Everything happens at once. O'Connell spins around just as the windows burst open. A mumia leans in, fires a gun. Wood chips blast off the wall next to O'Connell's head. He returns fire and kills the mumia. The mumia fall back. Firing blindly, a lantern in the room is blasted. Kerosene splashes across the wall, bursts into flames. Evelyn grabs the candle on the table and jams it back over her shoulder, right into Hook's eye. He screeches in pain and lets her go. O'Connell grabs her and yanks her out of the flaming room. We are in the hallway, and O'Connell pulls Evelyn down the hall, and she tries to jerk free.
The map! We need the map!
He shoves her up against a wall.
Relax. On the map. It's all up here.
Oh, that's comforting.
O'Connell gives her a look, then pulls her forward.
Come on. There's still one more of those guys around here somewhere.
Back in Evelyn's flaming room, hot melted wax covers Hook's face as he holds his sore eye and struggles to the door. Then he notices the key box on the floor. He bends over to pick it up, and that's when the door is kicked open again. It hits him in the ass and knocks him into the fire. Jonathan leans in, sees nothing but flames.
Evie!
Then he sees the key box on the floor and picks it up. A hand suddenly snatches the key box away from him.
Hey, that's mine!
It's Hook. His backside is now on fire. He lifts his pistol. Jonathan quickly backpedals out the door as Hook opens fire. We are in the camel paddock. O'Connell and Evelyn race out into the deck near the horse paddock. People are screaming and shouting, lots of panic. Blam! A chunk of the wall is blown off next to Evelyn's head. O'Connell pivots and fires back. It's the last mumia on the other side of the paddock. He and O'Connell exchange gunfire. Another lantern bursts into flames. O'Connell shoots off the paddock lock. The horses go nuts. O'Connell fires over their heads. They charge forward and crash through the door. The mumia screams as the horses stampede over him. Flames sweep up the walls and race across the roof. Half the barge is now on fire. O'Connell throws the gunny sack over his shoulder.
Can you swim?
Well, of course I can swim, if the occasion calls for it.
Trust me,
He picks her up and throws her over the side.
the occasion calls for it.
Evelyn splashes into the water, and O'Connell dives in after her. We are now in the barge bow. Jonathan runs out into the bow and sees 3 Americans, guns in every hand, fanning their pistols, shooting everything in sight. Sounds right. Jonathan just shakes his head.
Americans.
Hook suddenly stumbles up behind him, now a flaming torch. Jonathan turns around. Hook grabs him by the throat with his flaming arm and pins him to the cabin wall. Jonathan's eyes widen as he sees a Hook rising up inside the flames, about to strike him. The Americans pivot and open fire, blow Hook over the railing. Jonathan turns to the Americans and smiles.
I say, good show.
Then he points his thumb at himself.
And did I panic?
He lifts up his other hand. He has the key box back.
I think not.
And that's when the horses stampede onto the bow. Jonathan dives over one side. The 3 Americans dive over the other. We're at the Nile riverbank at night. O'Connell, Evelyn, Jonathan, and the warden wade out of the water. Evelyn's nightgown clings tight to her body as she wrings it out. She looks good, O'Connell notices. Everybody else, including the horses, is getting out on the far shore. O'Connell spots Benny running up to the Americans.
Hey, O'Connell, looks to me like I got all the horses.
Hey, Benny, looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river.
Benny looks up at the stars, then angrily kicks the sand, cursing. The flaming barge drifts off, slowly sinking. We are now in the Bedouin trading post during the day. O'Connell barters in Arabic with a camel trader at a trading post. Jonathan forks over some cash. The trader hands them the reins of 4 ugly old camels.
Can't believe the price of these flea bags.
We could have had him for free if we would have just given him your sister.
Yes, awfully tempting, wasn't it?
Awfully.
And that's when Evelyn steps out of a trading tent. She's changed into a gorgeous, tight-fitted Bedouin dress.
Then again,
We are in the Sahara Desert sand dunes during the day. O'Connell, Evelyn, Jonathan, and the warden are on camels in the middle of the frying pan, the endless, sun-baked Sahara.
Never did like camels. Filthy buggers. They smell, they bite, they spit. Disgusting.
The warden savagely attacks a chicken wing with his vile green teeth. Flies buzz around his head. He sucks at his gums and then spits out some gristle. O'Connell watches him.
yeah, disgusting.
Evelyn is having the time of her life on top of her camel.
Well, I think they're cute.
We do several time dissolves showing the majesty of the desert and our heroes getting deeper and deeper into it. We find ourselves in the frying pan at night. The moon shines down on 4 lone camel riders trekking across the vast wasteland. Jonathan is sound asleep, his head bobbing comically to the rhythm of his camel. On the camel next to him, the warden snores loudly. Up in front of them, Evelyn slowly starts to slide off her saddle. O'Connell reaches over and stops her, then gently pushes her back up onto her saddle, never waking her. For a long moment, his eyes watch Evelyn, and then he looks up at a distant ridge, where Ardeth Bey and a group of Mumia riders are pacing them. We are at a giant sand dune and an endless horizon during the day. The dawning sun hasn't yet crested the distant horizon as Jonathan and the warden ride alongside a giant sand dune.
And you snore.
I do not snore.
At night, you snored.
I have never snored.
Up in front of them, O'Connell looks at Evelyn.
We're almost there.
Are you sure?
O'Connell looks down at the ground.
Pretty sure.
The others look down and see dozens of skeletons sticking out of the ground, bleached and eaten away. Some of the skeletons look like they're trying to crawl up out of the desert floor.
What in bloody hell is this?
The warden shivers in fear.
Other seekers of Hymenoptera.
The American expedition rides out from behind the far end of the dune. The Americans are accompanied by 24 native diggers and an Arab Egyptologist. Benny rides lead on a camel, the rest ride horses.
Good morning, my friend.
O'Connell just nods. The two parties come to a stop 100 feet apart. O'Connell turns and stares out across the endless horizon. Benny does likewise. The Americans look puzzled.
Well, what the hell are we doing?
Patience, my good Sahib, patience.
Henderson looks over at O'Connell.
First one to the city, O'Connell. 500 cash bucks.
O'Connell and Benny just stare out at the flat nothingness. Evelyn and Jonathan share a look, and then the sun starts to rise in the distance, breaking the flat horizon.
Get ready.
Evelyn can feel the suspense and the majesty of the moment.
For what?
We're about to be shown the way.
Far off to the right, a huge shape begins to rise with the sun, a volcano. O'Connell and Benny watch it, expressionless. Daniels, Henderson, and Burns share a look, and then
Yeah!
Yeah.
the Americans take off, racing towards the rising volcano.
See you there, O'Connell.
Evelyn and Jonathan give O'Connell anxious, sarcastic looks.
Uh, begging your pardon, but shouldn't we be going?
After all, you rode us night and day to win that bet.
O'Connell doesn't say a word, staring hard. Benny watches the Americans and spits into the sand.
Fools.
And then suddenly the volcano shifts across the horizon, passing across the sun as it goes. It's a mirage. The Americans crash their horses to a stop and race the other way after the volcano. Evelyn and Jonathan smile, amazed. The volcano shifts again, floating across the watery horizon. The Americans crash to a stop again and chase after the volcano, all three of them confused and cursing. O'Connell and Benny just stare, waiting. The volcano shifts again, and the Americans crash to a stop again. Burns is thrown from his horse. Henderson angrily rips his hat off and chucks it to the ground. Daniels just curses as they give up the chase. The volcano comes to a stop on the far left of the horizon. The Americans are on the far right. Nothing moves. A beat. And then O'Connell grins, and so does Benny. They share a look. And then swat, their camels race away. Everybody else hauls ass after them. O'Connell and Benny are neck and neck. And then Evelyn comes galloping up, hair flying in the wind. Benny takes out his camel whip and starts whipping O'Connell, trying to knock him off his camel. Once, crack. Twice, crack. But on the third try, O'Connell grabs the whip and jerks Benny off his camel. Benny slams to the ground and tumbles. Evelyn and O'Connell race across the desert. Evelyn has never felt so alive. She laughs. O'Connell grins. He likes this girl. Benny stumbles to his feet, then quickly dances out of the way as Jonathan and all the other riders stampede past him. Evelyn beats O'Connell to the stone ramp, racing hard.
Evelyn, slow down.
Evelyn ignores him as she races up the ramp toward the gate.
Slow down, Evelyn. Slow down. There's a really big...
We are now in Hymenoptera during the day. Evelyn goes ass over teacups through the air and crash lands in a sand dune. She sits up, stunned, sandy hair in her eyes. O'Connell stops at the edge of the ramp next to her camel.
Never mind.
The Americans ride up and look in wonder at the ruins inside the volcano. O'Connell gives them a big shit-eating grin.
You boys owe me $500.
Outside of Hymenoptera, during the day, under the guidance of the Egyptologist, the diggers are busy hauling rock and dirt out of the temple doorway. The three Americans are playing poker. Benny smokes a hookah and swats flies. Dozens of stray camels roam the decrepit city, dusty backpacks and old saddlebags still slung over their humps.
Where did all these camels come from?
They belong to the dead. They'll wait for years for their masters to return before leaving. Oh, that's sad.
We're outside of our heroes' digs during the day. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan and the warden are working next to a narrow crevice which weaves its way through the ruins. O'Connell ties a rope around a pillar and throws the rest of the coils into the crevice, about to rappel down. Jonathan bends over to have a look. His ass hits something. He yelps and backs away. It's the decrepit face of Anubis.
That thing gives me the creeps.
Be nice. That thing saved my life.
Evelyn is positioning ancient mirrors along the crevice.
That thing gets me excited.
Things that get you excited.
According to Bembridge scholars, inside the statue of Anubis was a secret compartment, perhaps containing the Book of the Living.
What are those mirrors for?
Ancient Egyptian trick. You'll see.
O'Connell shrugs and then rappels down into the crevice. We are inside the embalmer's chamber. O'Connell waves a torch as Jonathan, Evelyn, and the warden drop down next to him. Evelyn peers into the spooky darkness.
Do you realize that we are standing in a room that no one has entered in over 4,000 years?
Who cares? I don't see no treasure.
You're welcome to my share of the spider webs.
And it stinks to high heaven in here.
Evelyn just rolls her eyes.
Cretins.
Jonathan sniffs the foul air, then he looks at the warden and realizes where the smell is coming from. He stops sniffing. Evelyn brushes cobwebs away from a metal disc on the wall, then repositions it on its pedestal, aiming it at a ray of light, shining in from the outer mirrors. The ray of light hits the disc and quickly shoots around the room from one disc to another until the whole chamber is lit up. Light rays shoot off down the passageways. It's the embalmer's chamber.
That's a neat trick.
Oh my God, it's a preparation room.
Preparation for what?
For entering the afterlife.
O'Connell quickly draws his gun. Jonathan gently nudges him.
Mummies, my good son. This is where they made the mummies.
Evelyn heads down a narrow passageway. The others follow. We're inside a labyrinth. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan crouch as they make their way through a narrow, cobweb-infested labyrinth. The short, squat warden can stand straight up. Then they hear something and freeze. It sounds like somebody is clawing inside the walls. They share looks, then slowly move forward, getting darker and darker as they go, the strange sound getting louder and louder. And then it stops. Evelyn holds her breath. Jonathan licks his lips. O'Connell cocks his pistol. The warden farts. O'Connell, Jonathan, and Evelyn glare at him. We are now in Anubis's chamber. They slowly creep out of the labyrinth and up to the foot of an enormous half-buried statue, the lower half of Anubis. Then they hear the sound again, coming closer now from the other side of the statue. And closer. O'Connell pulls Evelyn behind him. And closer. O'Connell raises his gun. And closer. O'Connell leaps out. 3 horrible, sweaty faces lunge at him. O'Connell reacts, but doesn't pull the trigger because it's just the Americans. Their guns are up, cocked and aimed.
You scared the bejesus out of us, O'Connell.
Likewise.
But nobody lowers their guns. Daniels grins, the tough one.
This here is our statue, friend.
Don't see your name on it, pal.
And that's when Benny, 5 diggers, and the Egyptologists step out of the shadows, all holding guns aimed at O'Connell.
10 to 1, O'Connell. Your odds are not so good.
I've had worse.
Jonathan clenches a tiny derringer.
Yes. Me too.
O'Connell gives him a sideways glance. Then he cocks his gun, grinning. He wants it to happen. The tension thickens. Then Evelyn gently takes O'Connell's gun hand and pulls it down.
Let's be nice, children. If we're going to play together, we must learn to share.
Evelyn pulls O'Connell away. Jonathan and the warden follow. Benny and the Americans slowly lower their guns, laughing. The Egyptologist excitedly begins translating the hieroglyphs. We are inside Imhotep's chamber. O'Connell and Jonathan are using sledgehammers against the ceiling. Evelyn is gently chipping away with a tiny chisel.
According to my calculations, we should be right under the statue. We'll come up right between his legs. Oh my.
And when those dirty Yanks go to sleep, no offense, O'Connell,
None taken.
we'll sneak up and steal that book right from under them.
And you're sure you can find the secret compartment?
Yes, if their Egyptologist hasn't already found it.
Jonathan looks around.
I say, what's my little friend got himself up to?
We are inside the scarab chamber. The warden crawls into a dark chamber and lights a torch. A mural wall comes alive. Embedded into it are dozens of black amethyst scarabs, glittering images of the sacred beetles. Awestruck, the warden pulls out a pocket knife and starts prying away at one of the precious bugs. We are inside Anubis' chamber. Benny and the Americans hover around the Egyptologist, who's found the secret compartment inside Anubis. The Egyptologist brushes sand away from the seam. Henderson steps forward and grabs the seam. The Egyptologist quickly stops him.
That he was no fool.
Henderson sees the intense look in the Egyptologist's eyes.
Yeah, sure.
He looks back at the native diggers.
We'll let him open it.
The Egyptologist nods, then yells in Egyptian at the diggers. The diggers hesitate, filled with fear. Daniels pulls out his gun, aims it at 3 of the diggers. The 3 diggers hesitantly step forward with crowbars and stick them into the seams. The other diggers back away, scared shitless. Benny and the Americans exchange looks, and then they back away as well. We are back in Imhotep's chamber. The 3 heroes are still digging into the ceiling.
Let me get this straight. They stuck a sharp, red-hot poker up your nose, cut your brain into small pieces, and then ripped it all out through your nostrils?
Ouch. It's really got to hurt.
It's called mummification. You're dead when they do this.
Still,
Yeah, that'd bring you back to life.
You two are worse than a couple of schoolboys.
And that's when a huge chunk of the roof suddenly gives out. O'Connell grabs Evelyn and jerks her clear. Jonathan dives for the far wall. A massive stone casement drops out of the ceiling and crashes to the floor. Dust flies and fills the room. We are in Anubis's chamber. Having heard the crash, Benny and the Americans have their guns pointed at the floor. The Egyptologist could care less. He looks at the diggers, gripping their crowbars, and yells,
Benny!
The 3 diggers pull hard. The ancient seams start to give. The Egyptologist yells again. The diggers pull harder. The compartment starts to loosen. Again he yells. The diggers give one final pull, and an intense burst of liquid sprays out of the seam, hits the 3 diggers, and melts their skin clean off. They scream, dying horribly, half skeletal by the time they hit the ground. We are back in Imhotep's chamber. The dust is starting to clear. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan slowly get up and step over to the massive stone casement. We immediately recognize it as Imhotep's sarcophagus.
Oh my god, it looks like a sarcophagus.
Why would they bury somebody in the ceiling?
They didn't. They buried him at the foot of Anubis. He was either someone of great importance or he did something very naughty.
Inside of the scarab chamber, the warden drops an amethyst scarab into his pouch, then greedily starts prying away at another. It rips off. He drops it into his pouch, only he misses, and this scarab quietly falls to the sandy floor without the warden noticing. We have a close-up on the scarab on the floor, and it begins to transform. The amethyst starts to glow. Something inside starts to wiggle, as if the amethyst were some sort of strange cocoon. Then it splits open and reveals a live, hideous scarab beetle that scurries out. It races over to the warden's shoe, quickly burrowing itself into the leather and vanishes inside. The warden's eyes fly open. He starts to scream, drops his knife, and frantically starts clawing away at his pant leg, higher and higher until he rips open his shirt, revealing a large, hideous lump burrowing under his skin. It burrows its way up his belly and across his hairy chest. The warden claws and scratches at it, trying to stop it. The lump burrows up his neck. The warden starts gagging and coughing, and then the scarab lump vanishes into his head. We're back in Imhotep's chamber. Our heroes clear the dirt off the top of the sarcophagus, revealing a single ominous hieroglyph. Evelyn stares at it. Jonathan impatiently strums his finger across the lid.
Well, who is it?
Evelyn stares at the hieroglyph, confused and concerned.
He that shall not be named. Voldemort?
O'Connell dusts off the huge lock.
There's some sort of lock here. You say these things are made of granite with steel interior?
Quarried granite with a cobalt lining.
Well, whoever's in here sure wasn't getting out.
No kidding. Without a key, it'll take us a month to crack this thing open.
A key, that's it. That's what he was talking about.
Who was talking about what?
Evelyn starts rummaging through the pack on Jonathan's back.
The man on the barge, the one with the hook, he was looking for a key.
Evelyn pulls out the key box. Jonathan tries to take it back.
Hey, that's mine.
Evelyn slaps his hand and quickly unfolds the box. It's now shaped exactly like the lock's keyhole. Evelyn smiles. And that's when they hear the warden's screams echoing through the labyrinth. All three of them turn and take off running. We are now in the labyrinth. The warden is screaming and dancing insanely around the labyrinth, totally freaked from the extreme pain in his head. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan run up just as the warden starts ripping out his own hair. O'Connell and Jonathan grab at the warden's hands, but he's far too crazed. He shoves them aside, runs full bore down the length of the labyrinth, and slams his head straight into a rock wall. The warden drops to the ground, dead as lead, eyes wide open. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan just stand there staring, breathing hard, wide-eyed themselves. We are now at the base camp at night, and Evelyn and Jonathan are nuzzled up to a campfire.
What do you suppose killed him?
Did you ever see him eat?
O'Connell comes up over some rocks.
Seems the Americans had a little misadventure of their own today. 3 of their diggers got killed.
How?
Salt acid. Pressurized salt acid. Some sort of ancient booby trap.
Maybe this place really is cursed.
A gust of wind blows through the camp. The campfire flickers. O'Connell and Jonathan share a nervous look. Evelyn laughs.
You two.
You don't believe in curses, huh?
No. I believe if I can see it and I can touch it, then it's real. That's what I believe.
O'Connell cocks his rifle. Ka-chink. Gives her a big grin.
I believe in being prepared.
Jonathan opens the warden's pouch, the one that held the scarabs. He reaches in, starts scrounging around. We slowly push in, waiting for the attack. The music builds, and then Jonathan screams in pain and rips his hand back out of the pouch. O'Connell and Evelyn both jump.
What? What is it?
Jonathan sucks his finger, then reaches back into the pouch and pulls out a liquor bottle. The top has been chipped off.
Seagrams!
Jonathan smiles at the bottle, then turns the pouch inside out and shakes it. Nothing but sand inside.
Well, he may have been a stinky fellow, but he had good tastes.
Jonathan takes a swig. O'Connell and Evelyn laugh guiltily, and then O'Connell suddenly kneels down and sticks his ear to the sand. Evelyn and Jonathan watch him. A beat, and then a barrage of gunfire is heard coming from the American camp. O'Connell jumps up and throws the elephant gun to Evelyn.
Stay here.
He takes off running through the ruins. Evelyn immediately gets up and runs after him. Jonathan grabs a gun, holds the bottle of Seagram's tight, and dashes after her.
Evie, excuse me, but didn't the man just say?
We are in the American camp. The American camp is under siege. 24 Mumia riders gallop through, firing rifles. Several diggers are killed as they run. The Americans leap out of their tents, firing, kill multiple riders. Daniels is shot, spins and falls, and keeps shooting. Henderson and Burns run to his aid, blasting away. O'Connell races through the ruins and slams right into Benny, who is obviously trying to hightail it out of there.
Going somewhere?
Just looking for you, O'Connell. I wanted to be with my friend.
O'Connell drags him back toward the American camp.
Come on, friend.
Why do you like to fight so much?
'Cause I look good doing it.
Ardeth Bay gallops through the camp, cutting diggers down with his scimitar. O'Connell runs up on top of some rocks, leaps out, and tackles him off his horse. The two men slam into the ground. O'Connell spins up onto one knee and fires, point blank. It blows the scimitar out of Ardeth Bay's hand. O'Connell is about to shoot again when a horse rides up between them. A scimitar swoops down, almost takes O'Connell's head off, misses him by an inch. O'Connell leaps up and blows the rider off his mount. The horse bolts, but Ardeth Bay is gone. Evelyn hides behind some rocks, watching the scene. Suddenly she hears something coming up behind her and spins around. A vicious, tattooed Mumia rider races at her. Evelyn quickly backpedals over the rocks, terrified. The Mumia rider raises his scimitar, about to strike. Evelyn screams, trips over a rock, and fires the elephant gun. Blam! It blows the rider off his mount and catapults him 20 feet back into some ruins. At the same time, the kick blows Evelyn off her feet and over a ridge. She flails through the air and lands in a sand dune. Jonathan and some diggers are holding their own near the temple door. 4 riders come charging right at them. Jonathan takes a swig of the Seagrams.
Let him have it, boys.
Jonathan and the diggers open fire. When the smoke clears, the riders are either dead or gone. Jonathan grins.
I say, bloody good show.
And then several more Mumia leap off the temple and land behind them. Jonathan and the remaining diggers spin around and suddenly find themselves in hand-to-hand combat. O'Connell is quickly loading his pistol. He hears something thundering up behind him. He spins around just as Ardeth Bay on a horse swings his scimitar. O'Connell instinctively raises his hand to protect his face, and the scimitar strikes. It hits his gun. O'Connell's gun flips away. Disarmed, O'Connell dives and rolls and suddenly comes up with a stick of dynamite in his hand. He shoves the fuse into a fire. It ignites. He faces Ardeth Bay, towering above him. The two men lock eyes. The fuse continues to burn down. Ardeth Bay points his scimitar at O'Connell's head.
Leave this place. Leave this place, or die.
Ardeth Bay gallops off. The remaining Mumia riders race after him, vanishing into the night. O'Connell watches them leave and then turns to the burning fuse and blows it out. Evelyn staggers up, looking very shaken. O'Connell gently takes her and holds her close.
You all right?
Evelyn looks up into his strong eyes. It's the first time he's shown genuine concern for her, and she likes it. He's also holding her a little too close, and she likes that too.
Yes, fine, thank you.
Benny crawls out from under some pillars as Henderson and Burns help Daniels to his feet.
See, that proves it. Old Seti's fortune's got to be under this sand.
For them to protect it like this, you just know there's got to be treasure down there.
O'Connell looks up into the surrounding ridges, unsatisfied.
These men are a desert people. They value water, not gold.
Evelyn looks at O'Connell, suddenly very worried.
Where's Jonathan?
Back at the base camp, Jonathan falls into frame, hits the ground, eyes wide open, mouth agape, clearly dead. A beat, and then his eyes close and his mouth widens into a goofy smile. He's shit-faced drunk. O'Connell and Evelyn laugh, both half in the bag themselves. The bottle of Seagram's is almost gone. O'Connell offers the bottle to Evelyn and she waves it away, slurring badly.
Unlike my brother, sir, I know when to say no.
O'Connell polishes off the bottle and chucks it away.
Unlike your brother, miss, you I don't get. You're a whole new brew.
I know you're wondering, what's a place like me doing in a girl like this?
Something like that.
Egypt is in my blood. My father was a famous explorer. He loved Egypt so much that he married an Egyptian. My mother, who was quite an adventurer herself.
Okay, I get your father, I get your mother, and I get your brother, but what are you doing here?
Evelyn is insulted. She staggers to her feet.
I may not be an explorer, or an adventurer, or a treasure hunter, or a gunfighter, Mr. O'Connell, but I'm proud of what I am.
And what is that?
Evelyn plops back down beside him, really drunk. She grins and proudly lifts her head high.
I am a librarian.
She leans in very close to his face and looks him in the eyes.
I'm going to kiss you, Mr. O'Connell.
No, you're not.
Not?
Not unless you call me Rick,
Why would I do that?
because that's my name.
She gives him a goofy smile. He leans forward and kisses her. Evelyn's eyes slowly close, and then she passes out, slumping into his arms. O'Connell looks down at her and just smiles. We are back in Imhotep's chamber during the day. Evelyn's hand slips the key into the sarcophagus lock and turns it. A series of strange mechanical-like sounds are heard, and then the sarcophagus unlocks with a giant hiss. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan all look very, very hungover. They start to slide the heavy lid off the sarcophagus, pushing, shoving, and groaning, the lid budging inch by inch.
Can't believe I allowed the two of you to get me drunk.
Don't blame me. I don't even remember being there.
Well, neither do I, thank you.
O'Connell gives her a hurt look.
You don't?
Evelyn gives O'Connell a nervous look.
No? Why? Should I?
Gee, yeah. You told me it was the best time you ever had.
O'Connell gives her a big, cheesy smile. Evelyn's face drops, appalled and embarrassed. And that's when the lid falls off and loudly crashes to the ground. All three of them instantly grab their sore heads and moan. We are in the Anubis chamber. Several fear-filled, sweaty-faced diggers reach into the secret compartment. Henderson and Burns hold guns on them. Daniels has his arm in a sling. The diggers slowly pull out the ornate chest. They set the chest down on the sandy floor, and Benny watches as the Egyptologist translates the hieroglyphs.
There is a curse upon his chest.
Curse my ass.
Yeah, who cares?
The Egyptologist gives them the evil eye.
In these hallowed grounds, that which was set forth in ancient times is as strong today as was then.
Yeah, okay. What's it?
The Egyptologist slowly and carefully reads the inscription.
Death will come upon swift wings to whomever opens this chest.
A gust of wind blows through the chamber. Torches flicker. All the diggers suddenly turn tail and run off screaming. The Americans look at each other, suddenly very nervous.
It says, there is one, the undead, who is brought back to life, bound by sacred law to consummate this curse. Kinky.
Yeah, well, let's just make sure we don't bring anybody back from the dead then, huh?
The three Americans laugh.
He will kill all those who open this chest and assimilate their organs and fluids.
Assimilate their organs and fluids? You mean eat them?
And in so doing, he will regenerate and no longer be the undead, but a plague upon this earth.
The wind whistles, torches flicker. It's all very spooky. Benny and the Egyptologist share a fear-filled look. Henderson just shrugs.
Ah, hell, let's open it anyways.
So this would be normally when we take our intermission. How's everybody feeling? Are we wanting to take a break?
I could use a few.
Maybe a short.
Like a
Let's do-
5.
Yeah, let's do a 5-minute break. Give our narrator some time to take a drink or something. And
Yeah,
then
you're doing a great job, by the way.
heck
Kill.
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
We'll come back and you'll kind of give us a little bit about Laundry Love, and then we'll finish this off. So we'll be right back.
Sounds good. Peace.
All right, it looks like just about everybody's back, so we could take a moment to advertise our wonderful charity of the evening, our fundraiser here. So you want to go to this website, holycommunion.net/give, and Wasin is going to tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so Laundry Love is it's a national organization, but my church, the Episcopal Church of the Holy Communion, is one of the sponsors. And basically, it is um, an evening once a month. It's the third Tuesday of the month, where we set up at Classic Coin Laundry in University City. And we feed coins into the washers and dryers, and anybody who needs laundry done can come and do their laundry. There's no, no prerequisite. We don't proselytize, so nobody has to be, Christian or any. I mean, there's no prerequisite to coming and having their laundry done. You just show up and we do your laundry. There is some child care. We usually provide some sort of meal. Usually it's pizza. And so honestly, it's kind of a fun community event. So yeah, that's Laundry Love.
That sounds awesome. And yeah, so if you're liking what you're seeing, if you're having fun watching us be silly, definitely feel like donating and giving to a good cause.
Yeah, and one other good thing about it is it's not something that costs a lot, I mean, for the church, and for donations. So even a small donation can go pretty far, doing laundry for people. So
That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are about halfway through. We're gonna pop open that sarcophagus. Who's excited? And let's go ahead and finish her out, Was, so you can take it away.
All right, we are in Imhotep's chamber during the day. Wham! Imhotep's wooden coffin is dropped to the ground next to his stone sarcophagus. Evelyn is very excited.
Oh my God, I've dreamed about this ever since I was a little girl.
You dream about dead guys?
Evelyn just gives him a look, then starts brushing dirt and cobwebs off the top of the coffin. Then she freezes.
Look, all the sacred spells have been chiseled off. The heretics and hieroglyphics that protected the deceased on his journey into the afterlife, they've been removed. This man was cursed, doomed.
O'Connell and Jonathan are too excited to care.
Tough break.
Yes, I'm all tears. Now let's see who's inside, shall we?
Evelyn can't believe these guys. Jonathan inserts the key box into the coffin's lock and turns it. The lid cracks open with a hiss. They all react to the foul stench. Then O'Connell grabs the lid. It's stuck. He pulls with all his might. Jonathan helps him. It starts to give way, slowly, slowly, slowly. And then it suddenly pops open, and the most hideous, maggot-infested rotten corpse imaginable jumps up.
Ah!
Ah,
They all jump back, scared to death. Imhotep is now the elephant man of corpses, twisted and deformed. The years have not been kind. He slumps back into his coffin. We are then in Anubis' chamber. Henderson and Daniels start to pry at the lid of the wooden chest. Benny and the Egyptologist watch. In the background, Benny starts backing away, filled with fear, sweating buckets.
The curse! Beware the curse!
Benny turns and bolts from the chamber. Daniels spits.
Stupid, superstitious bastard.
And that's when the seal breaks. A black vapor blasts off of the chest. Everybody vanishes into the strange cloud. We are back in Imhotep's chamber. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan slowly creep forward and carefully look back inside Imhotep's coffin, creeped out.
Is it supposed to look like that?
No, I've never seen a mummy look like this. He's still,
See?
yes, he's more than 4,000 years old and still decomposing.
And look at this.
O'Connell points at the inside of the coffin lid where there are fingernail scratches and dried blood all over the inside.
Oh my God, he was buried alive.
This sends a chill through everyone. Evelyn leans in closer.
And he left a message.
We push in on a grouping of heretics written in blood.
It says, "Death is only the beginning."
Jonathan shivers. O'Connell looks around.
Where's my gun?
What are you going to do? Shoot him?
If he decides to wake up, hell yeah.
We are back in Anubis's chamber. The vapor is settling. The Americans have their guns aimed at the chest. The Egyptologist slowly steps up, reaches inside, and lifts out a heavy burlap bag. Everyone's eyes widen in excitement as he sticks his hand into the bag and slowly pulls out the black Book of the Dead, the same book Imhotep used in his attempt to bring Ankhsunamun back to life.
I have heard tell of this book, but I have never truly believed it existed. This, good gentleman, is a most priceless treasure.
Henderson kicks the sandy floor in anger.
I wouldn't trade you for a brass spittoon.
Yeah, it's supposed to be made out of pure gold.
Daniels kicks the chest. It breaks open, unfolding to reveal a lower compartment. Inside are Ankhsunamun's 5 jewel-encrusted canopic jars. One is shattered and without jewels. We are back in the base camp at night. The two camps have now joined together. O'Connell and Benny are roasting chunks of hairy meat over a fire. Jonathan wrinkles his nose, disgusted by the smell.
What is this stuff? It smells like our late friend, the warden.
O'Connell and Benny both grin. Jonathan looks horrified.
You did not. We're not.
Rat gizzards. They smell bad and taste worse. But that's the best the desert has to offer.
The gloating Americans sit down, fondling their jeweled jars.
Say, O'Connell, what do you think of these honeys will fetch back home?
We hear you gentlemen found yourselves a nice gooey mummy. Congratulations.
You know, if you dry them out, you could sell them for firewood.
The Americans laugh. Evelyn walks up, sits down, and drops a pile of big, dusty bug skeletons onto the ground.
Scarabs, flesh eaters. I found them inside our friend's coffin. They can stay alive for years, living off of a corpse, or in this case,
She shrugs, then looks at the roasting meat.
famished.
O'Connell and Jonathan stare at the bug skeletons, disgusted.
Are you saying somebody threw these things in with our guy? And they slowly ate him alive?
Very slowly.
He certainly was not a popular fellow when they planted him.
Must have got a little too frisky with the Pharaoh's daughter.
According to my readings, our friend suffered the Hamdai, the worst of all ancient Egyptian curses, one reserved for the most evil blasphemers. In all of my research, I've never read of this curse actually being performed.
That bad, huh?
Yes, they never used it because they feared it so. It's written that if a victim of the Hamdai should ever arise, he would bring the 10 plagues of Egypt.
The 10 plagues? You mean all 10 plagues?
Like what that Moses guy did to the Pharaoh guy?
That's one way of putting it.
Let's see. There was frogs, flies, locusts, hail and fire.
The sun turning black?
Water turning to blood.
And my personal favorite, people covered in boils and sores.
All the men share nervous looks, really spooked. Evelyn just laughs at them, then pulls a meat stick out of the fire.
Fried gizzard, anybody?
In the camp later that night, having just freshened up for bed, Evelyn exits the temple and steps past the sleeping diggers. She spots the Egyptologist, his jeweled canopic jar snug under one arm, the Book of the Dead laying loose under the other. Evelyn stares at the book, nervously biting her lip. Then she sneaks over, carefully steals it, and quickly tiptoes away. Lying on some blankets by the campfire, O'Connell rolls over and sees Evelyn sitting wide-eyed, staring at the book.
You sure you ought to be playing around with that?
It's just a book. No harm ever came from a book.
Evelyn opens the cover. The fire flickers. She and O'Connell share a nervous look. Then Evelyn shrugs and starts reading.
Kumra, Kumdai.
Evelyn continues reading the book aloud in ancient Egyptian. We are in Imhotep's chamber that night. Evelyn's voice is overlaid as we start wide on Imhotep's chamber and slowly push in on his sarcophagus. We push in over the lip of the coffin, then closer and closer toward Imhotep's rotten, twisted head until his putrid face fills the frame. And then suddenly his crusty eyelids pop open, revealing empty sockets, big, scary music. Then we are in the base camp at night. The Egyptologist sits bolt upright, quickly looking around, sees Evelyn reading the book. He gets up and runs for her.
No, no, you must not.
He skids to a stop as a strange, piercing whine is heard coming out of the desert. O'Connell and the others all leap to their feet. The Americans run out of their tents. The sound gets louder and closer. And then from out of the darkness, a huge wall of locusts swirls into camp and envelops everyone. O'Connell grabs Evelyn, and with Jonathan at their side, they race for the crevice, trying to fend off the horrid vermin as they go. Benny and the Americans run for the temple. The Egyptologist is covered in locusts. He stares at the Book of the Dead, looking haunted.
What have we done?
The campfire is sucked up into the air. We are in the labyrinth corridor. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan race down the labyrinth, slapping at themselves and picking locusts out of their hair.
Did you see that? Grasshoppers. Millions of grasshoppers.
That's one of the plague, right? The grasshopper plague?
That is not a plague. It's generational. Every so many years, the locusts of Egypt have a population explosion and they all take flight.
Evelyn steps forward. Something squishes. O'Connell lowers his torch. The entire floor is filled with slimy frogs.
Okay, and what about the frogs?
We are in the labyrinth passageway. The Americans, Benny, and the diggers race into a passageway. Burns is knocked down. His bifocals skitter across the ground. They get crushed in the stampede. Burns staggers to his feet, squinting. Blurry figures vanish into the darkness.
Daniels? Henderson?
We're in the labyrinth corridor. The ground under O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan starts to shake. Then suddenly, right in front of them, hundreds of chittering scarab beetles boil up out of the sand. They start scurrying towards them. Evelyn screams, Jonathan screams. Even O'Connell almost screams as they turn around and haul ass. We are back in the passageway. Burns staggers down the passageway, squinting, his hands out in front of him, groping, trying not to bump into anything. Then, 10 feet in front of him, a dark, blurry figure steps out.
Daniels? Is that you?
Burns half blindly staggers forward. The figure doesn't move.
Henderson?
Burns trips, stumbles forward toward the figure. His hands reach out and sink into Imhotep's putrid chest cavity. Burns jumps like a scalded cat, pulls his hands out and looks at them. His hands are covered in molten flesh rot. He starts to scream. A skeletal hand clamps over his mouth. Then we are in the labyrinth staircase. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan race up the staircase just ahead of the mass of scurrying, chittering scarabs. O'Connell leaps out onto a pedestal. Jonathan jumps up next to him. Evelyn jumps up into a grotto on the other side of the narrow stairway. The horrible herd of vicious scarabs scurries between them. Their ear-piercing chitters send shivers up Evelyn's spine. She leans back and the wall moves. Evelyn falls backward through an opening. O'Connell and Jonathan watch the scarabs vanish up the staircase. Then they look across the way and Evelyn is gone.
Evie!
We are in the scarab chamber. Evelyn sits up, shakes the sand out of her hair, fearfully looks around. It's almost pitch black. She gets up and feels her way along the dark walls. She rounds a corner. A shaft of moonlight filters in through a crack in the ceiling. A man stands in the middle of the room. Evelyn walks toward him.
Oh, thank goodness. You're one of the Americans, aren't you?
Just as she reaches him, he turns around. It's Burns. Both of his eyes are missing. He stares at her with vacant sockets. Evelyn screams in horror and backs away, hyperventilating. She bumps into something. She screams again and spins around. It's Imhotep, with two fresh eyeballs in his sockets. Evelyn screams again and backs away into a wall. Her hair is down, her face is dirty and sweaty, her blouse is ripped, her dress is torn. She's never looked sexier. Imhotep squints.
Anaxunamun?
In the labyrinth staircase, O'Connell is feeling his way around inside the grotto.
Damn it. There must be a trap door in here or something.
And then they hear men screaming, and suddenly Henderson, Daniels, and one of the diggers come running down the stairs.
Run, you sons of bitches, run!
O'Connell and Jonathan join them as they hear the herd of chittering scarabs coming their way. The digger suddenly trips and falls. O'Connell slows down, about to go back and help him, but it's too late. The digger screams in horror as the herd of scarabs run over him, eating straight through him, leaving behind the digger's half-eaten skeleton. Daniels, Henderson, and Jonathan react in horror. O'Connell's already running, races right past them, and the others turn and haul ass. Back in the scarab chamber, Imhotep steps forward. The sand around him seems to magnetize, swirling and dancing around his flaking skeletal legs. Evelyn starts backing away, horrified, and looks at Burns.
Help me. Please help me.
Burns opens his mouth but can only gurgle and moan because his tongue is missing. Imhotep grabs him, throws him to the ground, and sets his skeletal foot on Burns's chest like a big game hunter standing on his kill. Imhotep then parts his fetid lips. A fresh tongue flaps between his rotted teeth.
Kadish Pharos Anaxunamun.
Evelyn shivers in fear. Suddenly, O'Connell comes flying around the corner and runs right up to her.
Would you quit playing around? Let's get out of here.
O'Connell sees the look in her eyes and turns around. At the sight of Imhotep, O'Connell jumps back in fright.
Whoa!
O'Connell and Evelyn start backing away down the wall. Imhotep glides sideways with them, like a tiger cornering his prey. The sand around him swirls and dances. Burns starts to crawl away, whimpering as he goes. Imhotep suddenly stops and unhinges his skeletal jaw. His skinless mouth stretches to an inhuman size, and he lets out a horrific primordial shriek.
Anaxunamun!
Evelyn screams. O'Connell shudders. Then, embarrassed by his fear, he opens his own mouth and roars right back at him.
Ah!
Then blasts him with the elephant gun. Blam! Through the smoke and flamage, we see Imhotep blown off his feet, his rib cage half torn away. O'Connell grabs Evelyn and runs. We are then in the crevice. Sand and wind whip through the ruins as O'Connell and Evelyn stumble up out of the crevice and come face to face with 10 armed mumia. The mumia quickly raise their guns. O'Connell and Evelyn quickly raise their hands. Jonathan, Henderson, Daniels, and the Egyptologists are already on their knees, hands over their heads. Our Death Bay steps forward.
I told you to leave or die. You refused, and now you may have killed us all. For you have unleashed the creature that we have feared for more than 4,000 years.
Relax. I got him.
No mortal weapons can kill this creature. He is not of this world.
Are we talking about the same creature? The walking corpse? Really big mouth? Really bad breath?
We are in Anubis's chamber. Benny slowly backs up around Anubis, eyes wide, gun up. He turns around. Imhotep is right there. Benny screams, backs away, and opens fire. 6 gunshots perforate Imhotep but have no effect except to splatter molten flesh rot onto the back wall. Benny retreats into a corner, scared shitless. Imhotep moves forward, his one hand trying to stop the molten mummy guts from oozing out of the large shotgun hole in his side. Benny drops his gun and grabs at the chains around his neck. Religious symbols and icons dangle from each chain. Benny holds the first one up, a Christian crucifix. He quickly makes the sign of the cross and blesses himself in English.
May the good Lord protect and watch over me as a shepherd watches over his flock, and may Satan in all his forms be vanished forever.
It has no effect on Imhotep, who continues forward. Benny quickly grabs at the other symbols and icons, holding them out toward Imhotep one after the other, trying to slow his progress. An Islamic sword and crescent moon necklace, a Hindu Brahma medallion, a small Buddhist Bodhisvata statue, all while blessing himself in Arabic, Hindi, Chinese, and Latin. Nothing works. Imhotep's skeletal hand reaches for Benny's throat. Tears run down Benny's cheeks, he's so freaked. And that's when he holds up the Star of David and blesses himself in Hebrew. Imhotep stops in his tracks. His hand lowers. His grotesque new eyeballs stare at Benny.
The language of the slaves.
Looks at him quizzically. Imhotep takes a step back.
I may have use for you, and the rewards will be great.
Sorry, there's sirens going off. Imhotep reaches into his tattered robe and then holds out his fetid hand, filling with squirming maggots. Benny cringes, about to throw up, but then the maggots part, revealing a tiny pile of little jewels. Benny's eyes widen. Imhotep raises his other hand. It holds Ankh-Sunamun's broken canopic jar.
Where are the other sacred jars?
We're in the crevice. Several mumia drag Burns up. He stares out with vacant sockets. Daniels and Henderson are especially horrified.
You bastard!
What did you do to him?
We saved him before the creature could finish his work. Now leave, all of you, quickly, before he finishes you all.
You're not going to kill us?
Evelyn elbows Jonathan in the ribs.
We must now hunt him down and try to find a way to kill him before he consumes the earth. Allah be with us.
Ardeth Bey and the mumia start heading down into the crevice. O'Connell yells at them, trying to convince himself.
I told you. I already got it.
Ardeth Bey stops and looks back, deadly serious.
Know this, the creature will be coming for you. He must consummate the curse, and until he does, he will never eat, he will never sleep, and he will never stop.
Ardeth Bey turns and jumps down into the crevice. We are in the ruins. O'Connell and Jonathan boost Evelyn up onto a camel. Daniels and Henderson throw Burns up onto another. The Egyptologist, still clutching the Book of the Dead, gets up on yet another. They all head off into the dark, wind-blown desert. And then, in the extreme foreground, a skeletal hand suddenly punches up out of the sand, accompanied by the most horrific primordial shriek imaginable.
Anak-Sunamun!
We are now at the British fort in Cairo during the day. A British flag flies over British soldiers manning the front gate. Our tired, disheveled heroes saunter up on their dusty camels. The soldiers check their papers and then let them enter. We are in Evelyn's quarters. A steamer trunk is slammed onto the floor and thrown open. O'Connell chucks a load of dresses into the trunk.
I thought you didn't believe in this stuff.
O'Connell heads for the closet. Evelyn unpacks the dresses.
Having an encounter with a 4,000-year-old walking, talking corpse tends to convert one.
Forget it. We're out the door, down the hall, and gone.
No, we are not.
O'Connell throws a handful of her underthings into a trunk.
Oh, yes, we are.
O'Connell continues to pack Evelyn's clothes as she continues to unpack them.
No, we are not. We woke him up. We must try to stop him.
We? What we? You didn't read you didn't read that book. I told you not to play around with that thing.
All right, then me. I read the book. I woke him up. I intend to stop him.
O'Connell angrily stretches a bra between his hands.
How? You heard the man. No mortal weapon can kill this guy.
Evelyn grabs the bra and throws it into a drawer.
Then we have to find some immortal ones.
There goes that belief again. Not me. I'm out.
O'Connell stuffs a pile of Evelyn's shoes into the trunk. Evelyn kicks the lid shut, slamming it on his fingers. O'Connell yelps and angrily storms around the room, sucking his fingers as Evelyn follows him.
According to that book, once this creature has been reborn, his curse will spread, and as he grows in strength, so will his curse, infecting the people until the whole world is destroyed.
Yeah? So? Is that my problem?
It's everybody's problem.
Look, lady, I appreciate you saving my life and all, but when I signed on, I agreed to take you to Hamanatra and back. And I did. Now we are even. End of job, end of story, contract terminated.
That's what I am to you, a contract?
You can either tag along with me, or you can stay here and play around with Mr. Maggot.
I'm staying.
Fine.
O'Connell storms out and slams the door. A beat. Then the door opens and O'Connell's hand reaches back in and throws a handful of frilly panties to the floor. Slam goes the door. We are at the British fort compound. O'Connell angrily strides through the compound. He sees Benny coming up the path with a man dressed in hooded robes, his face covered by an ornate death mask. It's Imhotep disguised.
Benny, you little stinkweed, where'd you slink off to?
You left me. You left me in the desert to rot.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Who's this guy?
So this is Prince Imhotep, High Priest of Osiris.
Oh, hey. How you doing?
O'Connell sticks out his hand. Imhotep instantly recoils. O'Connell gives him the once-over. Benny quickly recovers.
The prince does not like to be touched by other humans, a silly Eastern superstition, I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, we've got our little problems today, don't we?
He has come to help Mr. Burns. Somehow I feel responsible.
Don't give me that. You never had any scruples.
Do you know where I can steal some?
O'Connell fake punches him. Benny flinches. O'Connell gives Imhotep a look as he strides off.
See you around, Padre.
Imhotep's grotesque new eyes glare out from behind the mask. We are in Casbah during the day, the proverbial den of iniquity. Hard men, hard women, and hard liquor. Lots of deals going down. An older guy with a walrus mustache is drunk and talking to some tough customers. He wears British World War I fighter pilot gear. Meet Winston Havelock.
I'm the last of the royal force still stationed here, you know. All the other laddies died in the air and were buried in the sand somewhere.
The tough customers shove him away. Winston staggers over to O'Connell and Jonathan at the bar, not missing a beat.
Ever since the end of the Great War, there hasn't been a single challenge worthy of a man like me.
I've heard it before, Winston.
O'Connell shoves him away. Winston staggers back to Jonathan.
I just wish I would have checked it off with the other laddies gone down in the flame of glory instead of sitting around here rotting from boredom and booze.
Jonathan shoves him toward another group of unlucky sods. Henderson and Daniels settle up to the bar next to them. Burns, now tongueless, talks with a severe impediment.
Not sure how to talk without a tongue, but here we go. The jar there. Spectacles. As you see, I won't be needing them.
Imhotep opens the drawer and pulls out some bifocals. He puts the bifocals on over his death mask and grins broadly, his rotted teeth showing through the mouth hole.
Mr. Burns, Prince Imhotep thanks you for your spectacles. and for your eyes, and for your tongue.
The expression on Burns's face starts to change, very puzzled.
But I'm afraid more is needed, and the prince says he must finish the job. Consummate the curse which you and your friends have brought down upon yourselves.
A look of pure fear registers on Burns's face. Benny quickly backs away and runs out of the room. Imhotep picks up the sacred canopic jar, then removes the death mask, revealing his hideous, shattered corpse skull. In Casbah, three shot glasses clink together. O'Connell, Jonathan, and Henderson slug him down. All three of them instantly spit out the liquid. Half of the bar spits out their drinks as well.
Sweet Jesus. That tasted just like
Blood.
They all look at each other, even more nervous.
And the rivers and waters of Egypt went red and were as blood.
A look passes over O'Connell's face, a realization.
He's here.
He suddenly jumps away from the bar and runs for the door.
Who's here?
The guy, the priest, the mummy.
In the British fort compound, lightning flashes as O'Connell races across the compound, knocking several soldiers out of his way, panic-stricken.
Evelyn! Evelyn!
In the British fort courtyard, Evelyn calmly steps into the courtyard carrying a handful of books. A blast of thunder and lightning scares her. She drops half the books. Then a hand grabs her. She jumps again and drops the rest of the books. It's O'Connell, breathing hard.
We got problems.
And that's when a barrage of hail and fire slams into the courtyard. O'Connell and Evelyn jump back. A water fountain bursts into steam. A wooden trellis catches fire. O'Connell and Evelyn run under the eaves as soldiers, servants, and camels run in every direction, trying to avoid the maelstrom.
He's here. I saw him. That thing is here.
The creature, are you sure?
O'Connell gives her an incredulous look and gestures at the hail and fire.
Pretty sure.
The hail and fire come to a stop. Everything goes dead quiet. O'Connell and Evelyn freeze, and then a blood-curdling scream is heard coming from the living quarters directly above them. O'Connell and Evelyn race up the stairs. We are in Burns's quarters. O'Connell and Evelyn race into the room past the servant who is running out, screaming. They skid to a stop as they spot Burns, or what's left of him, lying dead on the floor. His body is shriveled to half its size, drained of all organs and liquids. O'Connell and Evelyn are shocked. Then they hear a loud moan and notice Imhotep standing on the far side of the room. O'Connell draws his gun. Imhotep is regenerating. A thick skin forms over powerful new musculature. His tendons ripple, his bones bulge and reform. His mouth opens to an inhuman size as he moans and cries out in severe pain. And then it's over, and he looks like an incredibly muscular, corpse-like vision from hell. The Terminator mummy. O'Connell and Evelyn are stunned.
We are in serious trouble.
Imhotep starts to move toward them, staring at Evelyn.
Back off, creep.
Imhotep keeps coming. O'Connell opens fire, blasting Imhotep. Bullets rip through his body. Imhotep doesn't seem to mind. Jonathan, Henderson, and Daniels run into the room. They're all stunned at the sight of Imhotep. O'Connell steps forward, throws a right hook, punches Imhotep in the face. His fist goes through Imhotep's skull and gets sucked deep inside his head. O'Connell stares at it, shocked, then quickly yanks his fist back out. The area of Imhotep's face that came into contact with O'Connell's fist quickly degenerates and decays, right down to the bone, as if O'Connell's hand instantly infected it. Imhotep angrily turns, grabs O'Connell, and with no effort throws him across the room and into Jonathan and the others, knocking them down. Imhotep looks at his hand, the one that just grabbed O'Connell. It starts to shrivel and decay. He quickly turns to Evelyn. Evelyn backs away into a wall, terrorized. Imhotep steps up to her.
You saved me from the undead. For this I shall make you immortal.
He leans in, about to kiss her with his decayed face, and that's when a white cat jumps onto the piano, hissing. Imhotep shrieks. The balcony doors blow open. Imhotep spins into a blast of wind and sand and swirls out the doors, gone. O'Connell, Evelyn, Jonathan, and Daniel stand transfixed. Henderson kneels next to Burns' shriveled body, horrified.
Oh, the curse. The curse.
Inside the Museum of Antiquities, O'Connell, Jonathan, Henderson, and Daniels follow Evelyn across the Ramesseum.
There's only one person I know who can possibly give us some answers.
They round a corner and come upon the curator, who is talking with Ardeth Bey. Everybody stops.
You!
You!
O'Connell and the Americans quickly draw their guns. Ardeth Bey just scowls. The curator nods his head.
Miss Carnarvon, gentlemen,
What is he doing here?
do you truly wish to know, or would you prefer just to shoot us?
Everybody tenses, guns up. Then O'Connell unlocks his .38.
I just saw my fist vanish into some guy's head.
He slides his gun back into his shoulder holster.
I'm willing to go on a little faith here.
You will not believe it.
Try me.
In the Ramesseum, moments later, everyone is assembled around the tomb display of Seti I. We recognize his chariot and sword. The curator sits on Seti's throne.
We are part of an ancient secret society, the cult of the Mumia, and we have a sacred mission, passed down through 39 generations. For over 4,000 years, we have guarded the city of the dead. We are sworn at manhood to do any and all in our power to stop the high priest Imhotep from being reborn into this world.
And because of you, we have failed.
And you think this justifies killing innocent people?
To have stopped this creature? Yes.
Okay, let's cut to the chase. He's afraid of cats. What's that about?
According to the ancients, surprise nutcake are the guardians at the gates of the underworld. Imhotep will fear them and he is fully regenerated. And until then, he will fear nothing.
Daniels is totally wigged out. He looks at O'Connell.
Right. And you know how he gets fully regenerated? By kill everybody who opened that chest and sucking us dry. That's how.
Yes, the creature must first try and regenerate, and then he will attempt to resurrect the one he has loved for more than 4,000 years.
Oxunamen.
The curator and Ardeth Bey look at Evelyn, thunderstruck.
In the necropolis, when I saw him alive, walking, he called me Oxunamen. And then in Mr. Burns' quarters, he tried to kiss me.
It is because it was you who read from the book. He has chosen you to be the human sacrifice needed to regenerate the body of an Oxunamun.
Jonathan scratches his ear with the barrel of his pistol.
That's not good. Not good at all.
Ardeth Bey has been staring out a wall of windows.
Tonight is the full moon, the moon of Osiris. It will begin tonight.
Everyone follows Ardeth Bey's eyes through the windows. We can see the sun, which is now going into a full eclipse.
And he stretched forth his hands toward the heavens. And there was surprise nutcake throughout the land of Egypt.
At the British fort, the window during the eclipse. O'Connell looks out a window at the British soldiers manning the walls. Above and beyond them is the black sun. In Evelyn's foyer, Evelyn and Jonathan are pacing the foyer.
We must stop him from regenerating.
She turns to Daniels and Henderson.
Who opened that chest?
Well, there was me and Daniels here, and then poor Burns, of course. Oh yeah, and that Egyptologist fella.
O'Connell turns from the window.
What about my buddy Benny?
Nah, he scrammed out of there.
We must find the Egyptologist and bring him back here to the safety of the fort before the creature can get to him.
O'Connell looks at Evelyn, Daniels, and Henderson.
Okay, Evelyn, you wait here. You two come with me.
All three of them pounce on him at once.
To hell with that. I'm not going nowhere. We're safe here.
Yeah, I'm not leaving this fort for nothing.
Who put you in charge? You can't leave me behind like some old suitcase. I'm the one responsible for this mess, and I intend to clean it up.
O'Connell just shakes his head and sighs, totally put upon. Then he takes Evelyn, shoves her into the bedroom, slams the door, and locks it with a skeleton key. From inside her room, we can hear Evelyn pounding on the door and yelling. O'Connell throws the skeleton key to Daniels.
Keep an eye on her. If you leave that, if you leave her, if you see her leave that door, I'll rip your spleen out. Come on, Jonathan.
Jonathan swallows hard and points to himself.
Me?
We are in the Cairo alleyways at the bazaar during the eclipse. The Egyptologist stumbles through the dark alleys looking haunted. He clutches the Book of the Dead in one hand and his sacred canopic jar in the other. Imhotep is stalking him. A street vendor turns and sees Imhotep's horribly decayed face. He reacts and scurries away. Imhotep lifts his robe, covers his face, and moves in on the Egyptologist, who is heading into the bazaar. We pan up to the Egyptologist's office. Benny is ransacking the joint, pulling out drawers and files and throwing them on the floor. He finds a silver pocket watch, shakes it, then throws it into his pocket. Then he starts tipping over bookcases and clearing shelves.
Well, well, well.
Benny spins around. O'Connell and Jonathan stand in the door.
Let me guess. Spring cleaning?
Benny turns and runs for an open window. O'Connell grabs a chair, flings it into his path, and Benny trips and crashes into a wall. O'Connell strides over, grabs him, and lifts him up the wall. Benny's feet dangle off the floor.
Where's your new friend?
What friend? You're my only friend.
O'Connell quickly slides his knife up under Benny's chin.
You got no excuse for living. What the hell you doing being buddies with this creep, Benny? What's in it for you?
It is better to be the right hand of the devil than his left. As long as I serve him, I'm immune.
Immune from what?
You shall see.
What are you looking for? Lie and I'll slit your throat.
O'Connell shoves the knife deeper into Benny's skin.
The book, the black book they found at Hamunaptra. Imhotep wants it back. He said to me it would be worth its weight in diamonds.
What does he want the book for?
Something about bringing his dead girly friend back to life. He needs the book. And your sister.
O'Connell looks at Jonathan. Benny seizes the moment and knees O'Connell in the balls. O'Connell doubles over and collapses. Benny leaps out of the window. Jonathan cringes.
Now it's rather painful.
Ever since I met you, my luck has been crap.
Yes, I know. I do that to people.
And that's when they hear a blood-curdling scream coming from down in the bazaar. O'Connell and Jonathan scramble to the window and look out. We are down in the bazaar during the eclipse. People are screaming and quickly backing away from the shriveled corpse of the Egyptologist. A partially decayed hand reaches down and takes the sacred canopic jar out of the Egyptologist's shriveled hand. It's Imhotep, having regenerated even further. He looks up and catches eyes with O'Connell. Imhotep grins, then unhinges his jaw. His mouth stretches to an inhuman size, and then a huge swarm of flies comes out of his mouth and races straight up at O'Connell and Jonathan. They both slam the shutters. The flies slam into the closed window and immediately spread throughout the bazaar, sending people screaming and running. In the Egyptologist's office, O'Connell and Jonathan look at each other, panicked.
Damn it. That's 2 down, only 2 to go.
Then he'll be coming for after Evie.
They turn and race out of the office. In the British fort at the window, Daniel stares out, watching the British guards at the front gate. More soldiers march the encircling parapet.
10 o'clock, all is well.
The lights and music from the Kasbah come up from below. In Evelyn's foyer, Daniels turns from the window. Henderson sits in a chair next to Evelyn's door, chain-smoking. Both look wired with fear.
The hell with this. I'm going downstairs to get me a drink. You want something?
Yeah, give me a glass of bourbon and a shot of bourbon And a bourbon chaser.
Daniels nods and heads out. Henderson just sits there alone, smoking. He reaches into his jacket pocket, pulls out his sacred canopic jar, and fondles it. A breeze suddenly comes in through the open window. The curtains flutter. Henderson gets up and goes over to shut it. He looks out the window. The camera races over the compound into the window and hits Henderson square in the face just as he's about to scream. Henderson is lifted into the air by a mass of swirling sand. His body twists and turns and slowly shrivels as the life is sucked out of him. Then he collapses to the floor. On the wall above him, the shadow of the swirling sand condenses, forming a shadow of a human body. The shadow convulses as the body regenerates. And then it's over. Imhotep steps into view. He's regenerated even further and looks almost normal now, his face no longer decayed. He steps over Henderson's shriveled body and up to Evelyn's door, rattles the knob. It's locked. Imhotep grins. In Evelyn's room, she is asleep in her bed as sand begins streaming in through the keyhole, pouring into the floor, forming a large mound. Evelyn starts to toss and turn. We pan back over to the door. The mound of sand is gone, and in its place is Imhotep. In the foyer, O'Connell and Jonathan race into the foyer and skid to a stop as they see Henderson's shriveled body on the floor. O'Connell runs up to Evelyn's door and rattles the knob, still locked. He bends down and looks in through the keyhole. In her room, Imhotep leans down toward Evelyn, about to kiss her as she sleeps. The door starts to crash and bang from O'Connell. Imhotep ignores it and kisses Evelyn. His lips and mouth instantly start to degenerate and decay, right down to the bone. The door bursts open. Evelyn wakes up, sees Imhotep's rotted mouth kissing her and screams and shoves him away. Imhotep's putrid mouth grimaces in sadness.
Get your hands off my girl, pal.
Imhotep's sadness turns to anger as he spins around and faces O'Connell. Imhotep licks his fetid lips and O'Connell smirks.
Nice lips.
Imhotep starts to move for O'Connell.
I figured you might be here, so I brought a friend.
He throws the white surprise nutcake at Imhotep. Imhotep instinctively catches it. He shrieks, drops the cat, and stumbles back toward the window, which suddenly blows open. Imhotep spins like a dervish and bursts into a whirlwind of sand. Everybody covers their eyes. The Imhotep sand devil explodes out of the window and vanishes over the compound. Jonathan aims his gun at the window, his hand shaking badly. O'Connell hugs Evelyn as she wipes her mouth in disgust. Daniels walks in, looks at Henderson's shriveled body on the floor, and drops the martini glasses. We are in a 1923 convertible Duesenberg at night. Jonathan races his big convertible through the streets, honking constantly. Evelyn sits between him and O'Connell, looking scared and nervous. Then she gives O'Connell a look.
You called me your girl.
What? Oh, yeah, that was just, a figure of speech.
I think you were jealous.
Jealous? Are you kidding me? Did you see that guy's face?
Daniels leans forward from the back seat, filled with fear.
Shut up. Shut up. We got to do something. We got to do something now before it's too late.
They race into the driveway of the Museum of Antiquities. In the Cairo bazaar at night, a full moon now shines down on the bazaar, still bustling with activity. Suddenly, a breeze kicks in. Green mist begins to swirl down the street and through the stalls. The people begin to choke and cough and retch as if being hit by a severe sickness. It's already too late. Imhotep strolls through the sickened mob, his face half rotted off, his deformed mouth grinning happily. Benny is at his side, looking very nervous. And then, one by one, the people silently begin to follow Imhotep, their skin now covered in disgustingly hideous boils and sores. In the Museum of Antiquities, O'Connell, Jonathan, Daniels, the curator, and Ardeth Bey follow Evelyn as she strides through the museum.
Last month, I came across an inscription that mentioned the Book of the Dead.
The book that we found at Hamanaptra?
Yes, I dismissed it because it talked about bringing people back from the dead, a notion I was unwilling to believe.
Believe it, sister. That's what brought our buddy back to life.
And now he's going to use it to bring back his girlfriend.
And if he succeeds, the two of them together will bring about the apocalypse.
The curator joins Evelyn at her side as she heads up the stairs, everyone else in hot pursuit.
The plagues we have seen so far are merely Imhotep flexing his muscles. Only at the moment of Anaxunamun's resurrection will he be truly invincible.
They reach the display cases. Evelyn quickly opens them.
I'm thinking that if the Black Book of the Dead can bring people back to life,
Then perhaps the Golden Book of the Living can return them to the underworld.
exactly.
So you're saying if we find the book made out of gold,
And read the sacred incantations contained inside it.
you think we can send this guy back to hell?
Correct. And that's when.
Loud chanting is heard coming from outside. They all rush over to the upper windows and look down. Outside, a large, crazed mob covered in hideous boils and sores comes chanting up the driveway. Aksu Namun, Aksu Namun.
It has begun, the beginning of the end.
Not quite yet, it hasn't. Come on.
Evelyn dashes back to the display cases, and everyone follows. In the museum, outside of the museum, the crazed mob crashes into the huge front doors, which are locked. They pound furiously, throwing themselves at it while chanting constantly. Imhotep solemnly comes up the driveway. In the upper balcony of the Museum of Antiquities, the banging on the doors can be heard as Evelyn and the curator quickly sort through broken pieces of stone tablets. The others watch. Evelyn pulls out a large piece.
Got it.
Got what?
The banging gets louder. Multiple windows shatter. Evelyn talks while quickly translating the tablet.
Since the Black Book of the Dead was found inside the statue of Anubis, and according to this, the Golden Book of the Living should be inside.
Evelyn finds the translation in the tablet and smiles.
What?
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 The Golden Book of the Living is inside the statue of Horus.
Which would be located not far to the east of the Anubis statue.
Don't tell me we got to go back there.
If we want to kill the creature, yes.
Two hideous boil and sore-covered men charge out of a doorway, screaming. O'Connell and Ardeth Bay grab them and chuck them over the railing. The men fly through the air and crash into the lower display cases. The front door suddenly burst open. The crazed mob pours into the museum. Our heroes haul ass across the balcony and down the staircase. Outside of the museum, Jonathan sneaks out of some bushes and quickly heads for his convertible. Suddenly, a splinter group of the diseased mob comes around the side of the museum. Jonathan insistently bugs his eyes out, starts drooling, and begins chanting.
Ang Sunamen! Ang Sunamen!
The crazed group runs past him and heads into the front doors of the museum. Jonathan leaps into the convertible, fires it up, and 180s it back over to the bushes. Back over to the bushes. O'Connell, Evelyn, Daniels, Ardeth Bay, and the curator jump inside the car. Benny steps out of the museum and sees them.
Imhotep! Imhotep!
Imhotep looks out of the museum from the shattered upper windows just as the convertible peels out. O'Connell points a finger at Benny as they race past him.
You're gonna get yours, pal!
Imhotep unhinges his jaw, his mouth stretches to the inhuman size. He lets out one of his horrific primordial shrieks. His disease-ridden disciples immediately begin pouring out of the front doors of the museum and chasing after the car. Outside the bazaar, the convertible hauls ass down the narrow bazaar street. Crazies start jumping out of the stalls and leaping onto the car. O'Connell and the others fight them off, throwing them overboard. More people jump on. Jonathan swerves the car, crashes through some stalls, knocking them off, but not before they manage to open the back door and yank Daniels out. He tumbles across the pavement, gets up shooting, backs into a corner, firing his pistol into the hideous rabble, killing several, keeping them at bay. His gun goes empty. Click, click, click. But the mob stays back, looking at him like rabid vultures. Daniel's eyes them, filled with fear. The mob parts like the Red Sea as Imhotep walks through them and up to Daniel's. Daniel's whimpers in fear, tears pour down his cheeks. Then he gets an idea, reaches into his pocket, and pulls out his jewel-encrusted sacred canopic jar. He holds it out for Imhotep. Imhotep takes it and grins. Through his tears, Daniels grins back, hopeful that he'll be spared. We cut wide. Somewhere in the middle of the crazed, diseased mob, we hear Daniels give out a blood-curdling scream. And then we're in the convertible. The convertible slowly motors down the narrow alleys. We dolly across the hood of the car from Jonathan to Evelyn O'Connell. Ardeth Bay and the curator are still in the back, all of them staring out the front windshield, freaked out. Then suddenly, one of the hideous ghouls crashes through the windshield. Everybody screams. Jonathan hits the gas, loses control, and the car slams into a wall. O'Connell grabs Evelyn.
Come on, let's go.
They all leap out of the car, but the angry, festering mob quickly surrounds them. O'Connell quickly reaches into his gunny sack, pulls out a stick of dynamite, then reaches into his pocket and pulls out a match. He looks around for a way to light it, then reaches over and strikes it across Ardeth Bay's stubbly face. Ardeth Bay yelps. O'Connell holds the lit match near the fuse. The crazed, chanting mob gives O'Connell a wide berth, staring at him and the others with insane, bloodshot eyes. Then Imhotep steps through. Having fully regenerated, he now looks as young and handsome and muscular as he did the day he was buried alive. Evelyn stares at him.
He's gorgeous.
O'Connell gives her a look. The match burns his finger. He yelps and throws it down, grabs another match and strikes it across Ardeth Bay's face again. Ardeth Bay yelps and gives O'Connell a look to kill. The curator shakes his head.
He has consummated the curse. Now all he'd need do is raise Anaksunamun from the dead. Then it will be the end of us and the beginning of them.
Imhotep moves forward, heading right for them. O'Connell lights the fuse. Imhotep steps up to O'Connell and stops, watching the fuse burn down. It's a game of chicken. The tension mounts. The lit fuse is about to vanish inside the stick of dynamite, blowing it up, when Evelyn leans forward and blows it out. O'Connell exhales, but keeps his eyes on Imhotep, who extends his hand to Evelyn.
Kuntash Dai Na.
Benny steps through the swarming mass, translating.
Take his hand and he will spare the others.
Evelyn hesitates, looks around at the huge, bloodthirsty crowd surrounding them, holding axes, picks, and scimitars, waiting to pounce. Then she looks at Imhotep, confident, powerful, invincible. Then she looks at O'Connell.
Any bright ideas?
O'Connell talks through angry, gritted teeth.
Sorry, fresh out.
Evelyn looks back at Imhotep, then starts to reach out to take his hand. Both O'Connell and Jonathan move to stop her, but Ardeth Bay grabs them both and holds them tight.
I have no choice. Oh, sorry.
Don't do it, Evelyn.
I have no choice.
Evelyn's trembling hand touches Imhotep's. His hand closes around her. Nothing happens. Imhotep smiles.
Kita mi faros. Ajanido Iselan.
Come with me, my princess. It is time to make you mine forever.
Evelyn gives Benny a nasty look, correcting him.
All eternity, idiot.
Then she looks at O'Connell and puts on her best face.
You better think of something, because if he turns me into a mummy, you're the first one I'm coming after.
O'Connell almost smiles.
Got guts, lady.
Yes, I know, and I'd like to keep them.
Imhotep suddenly notices something. He reaches forward and rips the key box out of Jonathan's upper jacket pocket.
Hey, that's mine.
Ardeth Bay holds Jonathan back. Imhotep pulls Evelyn away. O'Connell can't take it anymore. He tries to break free of Ardeth Bay's grip.
Evelyn!
The huge, powerful man holds him tight.
Be calm. There is still time. We can stop him yet.
The crowd parts for Imhotep and Evelyn, and then Imhotep stops and looks back at O'Connell.
Parid os.
Evelyn screams.
No!
Benny smiles.
Kill them.
Imhotep pulls her away. O'Connell breaks free of Ardeth Bey's grip and stumbles forward.
Evelyn!
But the rabid vultures are already moving in for the kill. O'Connell quickly bends down, pulls open a cistern or manhole cover, and shoves Jonathan down inside it, then jumps in after him. The curator pushes Ardeth Bey toward the cistern hole.
Go! Find a way! Kill the creature!
The curator turns and throws himself at the mob as Ardeth Bey crawls down into the hole. The mob tears the curator apart. In the catacombs, O'Connell, Jonathan, and Ardeth Bey slosh their way down the watery catacomb, crazies pouring in behind them. Up ahead, a light suddenly shines in from another cistern hole, and then more of the infected crowd drop down, screeching like rats. O'Connell jags right, pushing Jonathan and Ardeth Bey ahead of him. He strikes a match off the wall, lights the nubby fuse on a stick of dynamite, throws it, and runs like hell. Fire blast incinerates a bunch of crazies. On the street in an alley, the explosion blows the cistern cover 50 feet into the air, followed by a mass of flames. In the alley, a sewer grate is kicked out of a wall. O'Connell, Jonathan, and Ardeth Bey climb out of the hole and into the alley.
We got to get her back.
I'm with you, old man. No one touches my sister like that and gets away with it.
O'Connell looks at Ardeth Bey.
You know where they're taking her?
Yes, to Hamanoptera, to perform the ritual.
Jonathan looks worried.
And what ritual would that be?
The ritual to bring the body of Anaxunamun back to life.
And how does one do that?
By reading the Book of the Dead.
Oh, yes, of course.
And then killing your sister.
Excuse me?
Ardeth Bey looks at O'Connell.
Imhotep is now able to cross the desert with great haste.
Jonathan taps him on the shoulder.
Begging your pardon, but I wasn't quite clear on that last part.
Ardeth Bey ignores him.
If he arrives before us, it will be too late.
Did you say kill my sister?
O'Connell smiles.
I know how to beat him to it.
And on that, we smash cut to the Airfound Dunes at dawn. Jonathan's bashed-in convertible steams its way up to a set of semi-abandoned Quosanet huts. A single World War I biplane with RAF insignias sits in the sand beside them. A sign reads, His Majesty's Royal Air Corps. In one of the huts at the dunes, O'Connell, Jonathan, and Ardeth Bey stand before Winston Havelock, the massive dunes of Earfood as our background.
So, what's your little problem got to do with His Majesty's Royal Air Corps?
Not a goddamn thing.
Winston looks intrigued.
Is it dangerous?
You probably won't live through it.
This really interests him.
By Jove, do you really think so?
Everybody else we bumped into has died. Why not you?
Winston nods his head. He's hooked.
So that's the challenge then.
To save the damsel in distress, kill the bad guy, and steal his treasure?
A slow grin spreads across Winston's face, then he gives them a snappy salute.
Winston Havelock at your service, sir.
In the Sahara during the day, way off across the desert, a large sand devil races over the dunes. The sandy whirlwind comes to a stop and starts to dissipate. Evelyn and Benny are suddenly ejected out of it, and they land in a dune. The swirling sand condenses and forms into Imhotep. He looks up into the sky, listening carefully. Evelyn shakes the sand out of her hair and looks at Benny.
What just happened?
All I remember is him turning into a blast of sand, and then I remember nothing.
Then they hear a plane in the sky and look up. In the biplane, the wind whips at Winston in the cockpit. O'Connell sits in the gunner's compartment. Jonathan is strapped spread eagle across the left wing. Ardeth Bay is tied tight to the right. Both men are scared out of their wits and screaming in fear. Down in the desert, Imhotep's jaw unhinges. His mouth opens to an inhuman size. He lets fly with another one of his horrible shrieks, and a massive wall of sand rises up out of the desert. In the biplane, O'Connell watches the desert below him come alive and rise up toward the plane. Winston looks over the side and sees what's coming. He laughs, throws the throttle, and puts the plane into a dive.
Hang on, men.
We go wide as the sandstorm chases the diving, twisting biplane, getting closer and closer, about to engulf it. O'Connell looks back into the blinding sand and sees a giant face forming inside the sandstorm. It's Imhotep grinning. O'Connell grabs the Lewis machine gun, cocks the bracket, and fires, blasting away at Imhotep's giant face inside the sandstorm. Imhotep's face begins to laugh. Then his jaw unhinges, his mouth opens wide, and he engulfs the plane. Winston blindly fights for control, elated.
We're going down.
The biplane spins inside the blowing sand, engines roaring and wind howling, Jonathan and Ardeth Bay screaming, Winston Havelock laughing.
Here I come, laddies.
O'Connell braces himself for impact. In the desert, Evelyn leaps to her feet and runs over to Imhotep.
Stop it, you're going to kill them.
Imhotep grabs her, pulls her close. Her beautiful eyes stare into his shockingly intense ones. Then he kisses her hard. Evelyn's eyes widen, stunned and mesmerized. Then she pushes herself away and falls back into the sand. Imhotep laughs. Outside of the biplane in the dunes, the biplane smashes over a dune, rolls over, and crashes upside down into another. The sand swirls as O'Connell falls out of the gunner's compartment. The left wing is jammed into the dune, and Jonathan hangs upside down.
Excuse me. A little surprise nut cake would be useful if it's not too much trouble.
O'Connell goes to help Jonathan. Ardeth Bay stumbles over to the gunner's compartment and tears the Lewis gun off its mount. He throws the machine gun over one shoulder, a cartridge belt over the other, and staggers away. O'Connell and Jonathan look into the cockpit. Winston Havelock is dead, a smile on his face. The plane suddenly starts to move. The sand sinks under their feet. They quickly hightail it away. O'Connell, Jonathan, and Ardeth Bay make it to some rocks and look back. The biplane, with Winston Havelock inside, slides away over a dune. O'Connell gives it a salute. The plane vanishes over the dune into the swirling sand. In Hamunaptra, O'Connell, Jonathan, and Ardeth Bay come down a ravine in the volcano and look over the ruins.
Okay, now what the hell does this Horus guy look like?
He's a big fellow with pointy ears and a face like a falcon.
Got it.
In a stairway in Hamunaptra, carrying torches, O'Connell, Jonathan, and Ardeth Bay make their way down a long, winding, narrow staircase, heading into the bowels of the necropolis, a passageway to hell. In the necropolis, Evelyn follows Imhotep into the underground cemetery. She stops at the sight of all the big hairy rats scurrying through the mausoleums and over the gravestones. Benny shoves his rifle into her back and pushes her forward.
Keep moving.
Evelyn gives him a look.
You know, nasty little fellows such as yourself always get their comeuppance.
Benny suddenly looks worried.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, always.
Benny looks even more worried. He nervously starts chewing on his lip. All three of them walk over the bridge, crossing the disgusting detritus moat. Evelyn looks down at it, horrified. In the passageway, O'Connell and Ardeth Bay are busy digging out a collapsed doorway. Jonathan notices an amethyst scarab on the far wall.
I say, look at that.
He walks over and tries to jiggle it free. It comes loose in his hand. He looks at the scarab in his palm. It starts to glow, and then something inside starts to wiggle.
Say, gents, you should come have a look at this.
The wiggling continues, a long, agonizing beat, and then the scarab breaks out of its cocoon and instantly burrows into Jonathan's palm. Jonathan starts to freak out and scream. O'Connell runs up and rips the arm off Jonathan's shirt. The scarab is now burrowing up Jonathan's arm. O'Connell whips out his butterfly knife, snaps it open, and grabs Jonathan's arm. Jonathan's eyes widen in terror as the knife passes in front of his face. Jonathan screams louder, obviously being cut open. O'Connell's hand flicks something away. The scarab hits the floor and immediately starts scurrying back toward Jonathan, wanting to finish the job. O'Connell pulls out his gun and blows it away. Blam! In the cemetery, the gunshot echoes into the cemetery as Imhotep, Evelyn, and Benny step up to the strange altar where 4,000 years ago Imhotep tried to bring Oxunamun back to life. Imhotep scowls at the sound and angrily reaches into a canopic jar. He pulls out the crusted remains of Ankhsunamun's heart, crushes it to dust in his hand, and starts reading from the Book of the Dead. Then he blows the dust against a mausoleum wall. The walls start to come alive. Evelyn and Benny stare at the wall, both of them wide-eyed. Two forms emerge from the mausoleum's wall, horrific-looking mummified corpses, two of Imhotep's long-dead priests. They bow to Imhotep, then turn and move down a passageway. In the passageway, O'Connell helps Ardeth Bey mend Jonathan's wound.
From now on, don't touch anything. Not a damn thing. Keep your hands off the furniture, got it?
Jonathan swallows hard and nods vigorously. In the cemetery, Imhotep prepares the altar while speaking in Hebrew. Benny holds his gun on her, translating.
Prince Imhotep wants your heart.
Evelyn blushes, feeling complimented by the handsome prince.
Tell him I'm flattered, but it's already taken.
Imhotep continues speaking while laying the 4 jewel-encrusted canopic jars next to the shattered one.
He wants your heart and your brain, your liver, your kidneys.
Evelyn's eyes widen.
And how you say, those slimy things in your stomach?
Intestines?
Yeah, them.
Evelyn can't believe it. She furiously turns to Imhotep.
You only want me for my organs?
Imhotep looks at her and grins, then backhands her. What? Evelyn goes down for the count. Imhotep stares at her, cold, malevolent. Then he turns and walks off into the mausoleums. Benny nervously glances around, then quickly scurries away. In the treasure chamber, O'Connell squeezes through a small crevice in a wall and drops to the floor of a dark chamber. He picks up his gunny sack and scans the darkness. Something glitters. Jonathan and Ardeth Bey crawl in behind him. O'Connell notices a shaft of light high above him, shooting through a small hole in the ceiling and stopping against a wall next to one of those mirror discs. O'Connell aims his gun, fires. The bullet strikes the disc's pedestal, spinning the mirror into the shaft of light. And wham! The shaft of light hits the disc and quickly bounces around the room from one disc to another until the whole chamber is lit. It's an enormous treasure chamber filled to overflowing. Everything sparkles and shines, the wealth of Egypt. O'Connell, Jonathan, and Ardeth Bey are speechless. That's when the 2 mummified priest mummies walk in.
Who the hell are these guys?
Priests. Imhotep's priests.
O'Connell pulls the elephant gun out of his gunny sack.
Never killed a priest before.
They are evil, cursed. They matter not.
Well, okay then.
O'Connell fires the elephant gun. Smoke and flames shoot out. It blasts one of the mummies and blows its upper torso clean off. O'Connell pumps the gun. The huge spent cartridge flips through the air. He fires again, blasts the other mummy, and blows this one's torso clean off as well. The smoke clears. The 2 sets of legs keep walking forward, unaffected by the loss of their upper torsos. O'Connell can't believe it.
Oh, come on. Give me a break here.
And then the disemboweled upper torsos start to move, turning over and crawling towards our heroes, who start to back away. In the cemetery, Imhotep turns from the altar as he hears more gunshots echoing out of the passageways. He angrily reaches into another of Anxunamun's canopic jars, pulls out her crusty liver, and crushes it into dust, then quickly starts reading a passage from the book and blows the dust down a passageway.
Kill them all, and bring me the book of the living.
In the treasure chamber, a dusty breeze blows as O'Connell, Jonathan, and Ardeth Bay back away from the mummy pieces. The floor where they were just standing suddenly starts to move. Two more mummies slowly dig their way up out of the floor. More mummies start coming out of the walls and crawling out of the piles of gold. All the mummies head for our heroes. O'Connell lifts the elephant gun. Ardeth Bay stops him.
My turn.
Ardeth Bay opens up with the Lewis gun, blasting the shit out of the mummies. They keep on coming, even more now. O'Connell opens fire with the elephant gun, pumping and firing as all three of the men back away and haul ass. The mummies and mummy pieces follow them into the passageway. Then Benny creeps into the chamber. He stares in wonder at all the treasure, then falls backward into a pile of jewels and rolls about. In the cemetery, Evelyn wakes up, laying chained to the top of the altar. She blinks and then turns her head and looks right into the rotted face of Anxunamun's corpse. She screams. In the labyrinth passageways, the elephant gun fires, blasting flame and smoke right into the lens. O'Connell, Jonathan, and Ardeth Bay race down the passageway, a dozen mummies striding after them.
This whole place is coming alive.
The men race around a corner, more mummies. They race around another corner, more mummies. Onward they come, methodical, relentless, boxing in our heroes. O'Connell and Ardeth Bay firing as they go. Ardeth Bay goes empty.
I'm out.
He throws the machine gun down and they all race into Horus's chamber. A small chamber. The lower half of the giant statue of Horus stands in the middle.
There he is.
They run up to the base of the statue.
Hello, Horace, old boy.
O'Connell looks back at the mummies coming down the passageway. He reaches into his gunny sack and pulls out a stick of dynamite. Ardeth Bay taps him on the shoulder.
Allow me.
O'Connell hands him the dynamite and a match and then turns to look at the statue. Ardeth Bay reaches forward and strikes a match off of O'Connell's stubbly face. O'Connell yelps. Ardeth Bay lights the dynamite and throws it down the passageway. They all hit the deck and the dynamite explodes, ripping apart the creatures, causing a cave-in and sealing the passageway with rock and dirt. Now there's only one way out, another dark, creepy passageway. In the cemetery, chained tight to the top of the altar, Evelyn hopelessly struggles to free herself. She stops as priest mummies start surrounding the altar. Evelyn is horrified as the hideous mummies kneel down and begin to chant, which now sounds even more horrific due to the lack of tongues, jaws, and mouths in the room. Imhotep steps up, carrying the black book of the dead. His hand reaches out and lovingly caresses Anxunamun's decayed cheek. In Horus's chamber, O'Connell and Jonathan are digging away at the seams of the secret compartment. It starts to give. And that's when Ardeth Bay spots another group of rotting mummies coming down the dark passageway, heading right for them. O'Connell looks up.
These guys just don't quit.
Ardeth Bay grabs the elephant gun and a handful of shells and runs off toward the mummies.
Keep digging.
O'Connell and Jonathan redouble their efforts, pulling harder on the seam. The compartment starts to loosen, about to give. The last time this happened, salt acid sprayed out, remember? Our heroes keep tugging, the tension mounts, and that's when a skeletal hand bursts up out of the ground and grabs O'Connell's ankle. Several more moldy hands burst up out of the ground. O'Connell and Jonathan struggle with the mummies as they crawl up out of the dirt floor. One of the mummies violently shoves O'Connell away. Another grabs Jonathan by the throat and starts to strangle him. A third mummy grabs at the secret compartment and pulls hard. An intense burst of acid sprays out of the seam and hits all three of the mummies. The one strangling Jonathan gets it in the back and drops him. All three mummies melt horribly. In the cemetery, Imhotep begins to read from the Book of the Dead. A large, swirling hole starts to open in the detritus bog. Evelyn's eyes widen in amazement and horror. In Horus's chamber, Ardeth Bay blasts away at the oncoming mummies over at the base of the statue. O'Connell and Jonathan pull an ornate chest out of the secret compartment. O'Connell rips off the lid, reaches inside, and pulls out a heavy burlap bag. He and Jonathan exchange nervous, excited looks. Then he reaches into the bag and slowly pulls out the solid gold Book of the Living. Golden light reflects off their faces as they stare at it in wonder. The elephant gun goes empty. Ardeth Bey takes it by the barrel and wades into the remaining mummies, swinging.
Save the girl. Kill the creature.
The mummies quickly overwhelm and start to tear him apart. O'Connell lights the last stick of dynamite and throws it against the far wall. He and Jonathan hit the deck.
That's the last one. We better get lucky.
The wall blows, debris collapses, but now here's a hole for them to get out. O'Connell and Jonathan race out through the hole just as the remaining mummies enter the chamber. Outside the Hamunaptru ruins, Benny staggers across the sand with a saddlebag filled with treasure. He throws it over the rear of a camel, starts to climb up, hesitates, looks back at the temple door, licks his lips, and then his greed gets the better of him, and he quickly climbs down and scurries back toward the door. In the cemetery, Imhotep reads from the book. The rotten priest mummies rock back and forth, chanting. Evelyn struggles. Then suddenly the strange mist wafts up out of the swirling hole and over the sacred jars. It passes through them and into Evelyn. Evelyn jerks as though she's been electrified. The mist passes through her and into Anksunamun's body. The chanting priest, swirling hole, wafting mist, and Imhotep's readings reach a crescendo. Anksunamun's crusty eyelids suddenly pop open. Evelyn stares at her in disbelief. Anksunamun's rotted head turns and looks at Evelyn with empty sockets. Evelyn freaks out and struggles wildly. Then she notices Imhotep holding the ancient sacrificial knife.
With your death, my love and I will be invincible.
He raises it up over Evelyn's chest, about to plunge it down. Evelyn's eyes widen in horror, and that's when O'Connell and Jonathan burst in. Imhotep spins around and faces them. Jonathan beams as he holds up the golden Book of the Living.
I found it, Evie. I found it.
Shut up and get me out of here.
O'Connell grabs an ancient sword out of a statue's hand, jumps up onto a gravestone, and leaps out over the priests. The priest mummies stop chanting. The mist vanishes. Imhotep steps forward. O'Connell strikes the sacrificial knife out of his hand. Imhotep bellows a command. The priests stand up, swords and knives in hand, and they attack O'Connell.
Open the book, Jonathan. Open the book. That's the only way to kill him.
O'Connell racks and chops at the attacking priest mummies, fighting his way to Evelyn, the skeletal creatures wildly swinging their swords, trying to stab O'Connell. Jonathan fumbles with the book, struggling to open it. He can't.
I can't open it. It's locked or something.
O'Connell cuts two of the mummies in half, then swings his sword down at Evelyn. Clang! One chain breaks free. Jonathan spots a series of solid gold four-sided locks along the binder. It hits him like lightning.
We need the key.
Imhotep grins, then grabs the key box hanging from a chain around his neck, rips it off, and shoves it into his pocket. He picks up the sacrificial sword and heads for Jonathan.
What do I do, Evie? What do I do?
Read the inscription on the cover.
O'Connell swings his sword down again. Clang! Evelyn now has one hand and one leg free. More mummies attack O'Connell and force him back. Jonathan quickly starts translating the cover inscription, but his ancient Egyptian is clearly awful.
Kitash something, nutcake something.
Jonathan starts to backpedal through the cemetery, clutching the golden book, wide-eyed as Imhotep moves in on him.
Ibarra, Hatu, Kashka,
Jonathan trips and falls on his ass. Imhotep charges forward. O'Connell splashes another chain, only one more left holding Evelyn. Jonathan sits up and quickly looks back at the cover.
Rashima Anubis.
Imhotep raises the sacrificial sword about to kill Jonathan, and that's when the giant statue of Anubis suddenly crashes through the wall. Shades of Ray Harryhausen, only better. I don't understand that reference. The god of death's horrible, decrepit stone face stares angrily down. Jonathan stares back.
Oh boy.
O'Connell decapitates a mummy and looks up at Anubis.
This just keeps getting better and better.
Imhotep leaves Jonathan and heads for the giant statue. O'Connell leaps over with one last swing of the sword, frees Evelyn from her chains. More priest mummies attack, forcing him away. Evelyn jumps off the altar and starts to head for O'Connell. A skeletal hand grabs her, spins her around. It's Ankh-Sunamun's rotted corpse. Evelyn reacts. Imhotep looks up at Anubis, points to O'Connell, and an ancient Egyptian commands him to attack. Anubis moves for O'Connell, stomping over mausoleums and through the detritus moat on his way. O'Connell quickly backs away.
Do something, Jonathan. Kill it.
You've got to be joking.
Evelyn is backing away from Ankh-Sunamun.
Finish the inscription, idiot.
Oh,
Ankh-Sunamun attacks Evelyn. Evelyn fends her off as best she can. Jonathan quickly looks back at the hieroglyphs on the book cover, fumbling badly under the pressure.
Futash im. Now, what is this last symbol here?
What's it look like?
Ankh-Sunamun grabs Evelyn by the throat. The statue of Anubis corners O'Connell, reaches down and grabs him with its massive talons. O'Connell hacks away at it. Jonathan stares at the inscription, slightly oblivious.
It's an Ankh symbol with two little squiggly lines above it and a bird, a stork, on either side.
Evelyn is being strangled by Ankh-Sunamun.
A Amenephis.
Yes, I see.
The talons lift O'Connell up and start to crush him.
Futash im Amenephis.
The giant statue of Anubis instantly freezes in its tracks and petrifies. It's off balance, starts to fall. O'Connell slides free of its talons. Evelyn shoves Ankh-Sunamun away. Ankh-Sunamun looks up and opens her fetid mouth to scream just as Anubis crashes down on top of her, smashing her to powder and driving her into the ground. Imhotep shrieks in rage and horror, then turns and angrily heads for Jonathan. Jonathan, sitting on his ass, quickly backpedals on his hands and heels. O'Connell leaps to his feet, sword in hand, and runs for Imhotep. Imhotep grabs Jonathan, lifts him up, rips the golden book of the living out of his hand, and pins him to a wall. O'Connell runs up and swings his sword at Imhotep. Whap! Slices Imhotep's right arm off. It drops to the ground, still clutching the book of the living. Imhotep drops Jonathan and spins around, facing O'Connell. O'Connell grins.
Okay, pal. Let's see how tough you are without your right arm.
Imhotep grabs O'Connell with his left arm and throws him halfway across the cemetery. O'Connell slams into a gravestone, bounces off, and crashes to the ground. He shakes it off.
All right, so he's left-handed.
Imhotep is already striding toward him. Jonathan lifts up his hand. He has the key box back. He smiles at Evelyn.
I got it.
Evelyn runs for Jonathan. O'Connell swings his sword and cleaves a big chunk of molten flesh rot out of Imhotep's stomach. On the outside, Imhotep looks human, but on the inside, he is still a rotten old mummy. Imhotep backhands O'Connell, knocks him 20 feet. O'Connell staggers to his feet. Imhotep is right there, clubs him hard with his left arm. O'Connell spins through the air, slams into the side of a mausoleum. Imhotep approaches, rage in his eyes. O'Connell gets up, quickly pivots, and hacks into Imhotep's head. Imhotep grins and punches O'Connell in the face. O'Connell is thrown back, pulling his sword with him. He bounces hard off the mausoleum and lands on his feet, totally beat to shit. Knees buckling, he can barely stand. Jonathan lifts up the heavy gold book. Imhotep's severed hand still clings to it. Jonathan cringes in disgust. Evelyn yanks it off, throws it away, then starts furiously working the key into the series of locks, unlocking each of them. Imhotep strides forward. O'Connell backs into the mausoleum, swings the sword. Imhotep tries to catch it. It cleaves through his palm and deeply embeds itself into his forearm. No matter, Imhotep rips the sword away from O'Connell and casually flings it away. The golden book of the living opens with a hiss. Jonathan holds it tight as Evelyn quickly turns the heavy gold pages looking for something. O'Connell turns to run, but Imhotep grabs him by the throat and lifts him off his feet. O'Connell hangs there, a dazed mess. Imhotep grins, saying something in ancient Egyptian, then starts to strangle O'Connell. O'Connell chokes, about to die. Evelyn turns and faces Imhotep and reads the inscription.
Karishma, Karishma, Parudhus, Parudhus.
Imhotep pivots and looks at Evelyn, a look of sheer terror on his face. Then he looks over at the detritus bog, which starts to bubble and shift. The swirling hole begins to open, and then suddenly the spirits of Egyptian gods waft out of the black bog and swirl around the priest mummies. The mummies all collapse and turn to dust, and then the spirits attack Imhotep, lifting him and O'Connell up into the air. Imhotep lets go of O'Connell, who falls to the ground. Evelyn and Jonathan fearfully stumble away from the spirits. Jonathan trips and falls and accidentally throws the Book of the Living into the detritus bog. Evelyn watches as the golden book sinks into the black petruscence. Jonathan looks like he's about to cry. 10 feet off the ground, the spirits swirl around Imhotep's body, twisting it and turning it and slowly shriveling it, accompanied by the same strange flashing light we saw at the beginning of the movie when Ankh-Sunamun was cursed. One last huge flash, accompanied by a blast of wind, and Imhotep is spit out and thrown to the floor. He staggers to his feet and he looks perfectly normal. His body is completely intact. O'Connell swings his sword. Imhotep jerks back. The sword scrapes Imhotep's chest. A swath of blood appears across his chest where the sword hit him. Imhotep touches the blood on his chest, amazed and horrified. He's mortal. O'Connell runs Imhotep through with the sword and shoves him backward. Imhotep stumbles back and falls into the detritus bog, the sword still in his stomach. Evelyn and Jonathan run up next to O'Connell. They watch as Imhotep gently sinks into the fetid swamp, slowly dying. And then, just before his head goes under, Imhotep looks up at them, grins broadly, and says something in ancient Egyptian. Evelyn translates.
Death is only the beginning.
Imhotep's grinning face vanishes under the black bile. In the staff chamber, Benny staggers across a chamber, straining under the weight of another saddlebag filled with treasure. He spots a large, ornate staff sticking out of a wall. He throws the saddlebag over the staff and collapses against the wall, exhausted. A beat, and then the weight of the treasure pulls the staff down, which starts a massive aural chain reaction. Benny backs away from the wall, wide-eyed and filled with fear. All the walls start to sink into the ground, driven by tons of pouring sand. Benny turns and hauls ass out of the chamber. In the cemetery, O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan look around as all the walls start to descend. O'Connell grabs Evelyn's hand.
Come on.
He pulls her forward, and all three of them race past sinking pillars. They duck as they run into a descending doorway. In a passageway, Benny scampers down, ceiling getting lower and lower until he has to crouch, and then he has to stick the torch between his teeth and crawl on his hands and knees. In the treasure chamber, O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan crouch. Evelyn skids to a stop, looks in wonder at all the treasure. Sand rains down on them. O'Connell grabs her again and quickly pulls her through the mounds of treasure toward a sinking doorway on the far side of the room. The sound of the sinking walls is deafening. Benny Crouch runs into the chamber. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan race past him. He joins them as they run up the staircase, heading for a descending doorway which is already half gone. It's now only 4 feet high, now 3 feet high, now 2 feet. Jonathan dives through the narrow gap. Then O'Connell dives through. He spins around. Evelyn dives but gets stuck in the middle, about to get cut in half. O'Connell grabs her arm and yanks her through in the nick of time. Benny reaches through the narrowing gap with his hand.
O'Connell!
O'Connell grabs it, but it's too late. Benny yanks his hand back just as the top of the door crashes to the floor, sealing him in. Benny quickly crawls back down the stairs as the ceiling slams down behind him. He stands up and looks around with his diminishing torch. All the doorways finish closing. There is no way out. He's trapped. And then he hears something and turns around. Over in the corner, a scarab beetle stares at him, chittering. Benny waves his flickering torch at the scarab and backs away.
Go away.
He stands in the middle of the treasure chamber as dozens upon dozens of scarabs boil up out of the floor around him. Benny is absolutely terrified. The scarabs start to move in, and that's when Benny's torch goes out, pitch black, a beat, and then we hear Benny start screaming in horror and pain, and the scarabs chittering hungrily. Outside of Hominoptera, during the day, the temple collapses as O'Connell, Evelyn, Jonathan, and a pack of stray camels race through the ruins. A sinking crevice drops out right behind them, chasing them out through the front gates. The whole place rumbles ominously. They make it down the ramp as more ruins crash down behind them. A massive cloud of sand and dust billows out over the wall and into the air. Our heroes and all the stray camels race out into the desert. We slowly dissolve to a plateau. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan stand in the middle of the plateau surrounded by stray camels. They stare off at the sandy, dusty volcano as it continues to rumble ominously.
Well, I guess we go home empty-handed.
O'Connell looks at Evelyn.
Wouldn't say that.
Evelyn returns the look, a beat, and then she wraps her arms around his neck and kisses him. O'Connell returns it. Jonathan just rolls his eyes, snorts in disgust, and climbs up onto a camel. When the kiss is over, O'Connell and Evelyn share a smile. Then O'Connell leaps up into the saddle, reaches down, grabs Evelyn's hand, and pulls her up behind him. Evelyn wraps her arms around his waist. O'Connell and Jonathan slap the reins.
Tuck, tuck, tuck.
The camels start to move out. We pan down to the saddlebag behind Evelyn. Hidden under the closed back flap, we can see that it's filled with Benny's stolen treasure. O'Connell, Evelyn, and Jonathan ride off into the sunset. The end.
Yay! Yes, we are finished. I'm not going to go on too long because I know it's kind of late for some of my folks here. So I'm just going to give a final casting call and let us be done for the day. So I definitely want to thank Dad slash Sean for being the wonderful Jonathan and talking to himself a little bit. That's okay. I want to thank Mark for being all the bad guys, along with Nick for being the other set of bad guys. Y'all killed it. I want to thank Kelsey for being an extra, dying like 17 times. I want to thank Mom for not being ugly. I don't know what that narration's about.
And a prude, like what?
Crazy. I want to thank Pat for being Rick O'Connell and being his Rickiest O'Connelliest. Awesome. Great job. And I especially want to thank Wasson for all of that narration. Holy crap.
So
Thank
much.
Yes, so much. All right, y'all. I hope you had a great night. Hope you can donate to Laundry Love if possible, but we will see you in late April for our next read. So thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.